Now, there's a lot to be said about the power of belief, and we believe in our third member of our broadcast team. That's Scott Robb, joins us from the field. Scott?
Hey, thanks a lot, guys. Well, obviously a big matchup for Hawaii going against not only a Mountain West school, but a nationally ranked team. Earlier this week, Captain J.R. Hensley was asked about playing a ranked team. He basically said he couldn't care less. His teammates don't follow the rankings. It doesn't mean much to him. He said the bottom line is for he and his teammates to look at this as one Mountain West team playing another Mountain West team, and, well, that's exactly right.
Scott, thank you for that. As we get closer to kickoff, let's take a look at the starters at skill position for the Aggies of Utah State, ranked 18th in the country. Keep your eyes on 87. That's a tight end, Dax Raymond. Program touts him as an NFL-type player. Then there's Ronquavion Tarver, Jordan Nathan, Jalen Green, transferred from USC, and the starter at running back expected to be Gerald Wright. Now the quarterback for the Aggies is a sophomore. 6'4", 225 pounds, from Bakersfield, California. There's a lot of love for Jordan Love in the Mountain West Conference. 2,058 yards passing, 18 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. Now the skill players for the University of Hawaii, John Ursua. He and Cedric Byrd combined as a #1 duo in the country with 22 receiving touchdowns. JoJo Ward has an average of 16.3 yards per reception. Then there's Marcus Armstrong Brown, and the starter at running back expected to be Dayton Furuta. Now the quarterback for UH is Cole McDonald, also a sophomore, 2,832 yards, a 62% passer, 30 touchdowns to just 4 interceptions. How he goes, the offense will go tonight. Rainbow Warriors 6-4, 3-2 in the conference, and that guy is Hawaii's head coach, Nick Rolovich, 16-20. Overall, his third season as head coach, he is 8-13 in the Mountain West Conference. Head coach for Utah State is Matt Wells. His 6th year, 40-33, 26-17 in the MWC, and back in 2013, he was elected as the conference coach of the year. Aggies 7-1 for the first time, 4-0 in the Mountain West Conference. 7-1, their best start since 1965.
Yeah, and that first game against Michigan State was so close. It went down to the very end, and a couple of plays here and there. They could be 8-0, and we'd be talking about a different narrative nationally.
Hawaii won the toss. They've elected to receive. Head coach Nick Rolovich wants Cole McDonald in the offense to get on the field and doing work tonight. Kicking off for Utah State is Dominic Eberle. 48 of his 68 kickoffs this season have been touchbacks. This guy's a weapon. But later on in the game, we'll lay out the kind of season he's had. And this game at Aloha Stadium is underway. And making 49 of 69 kickoffs by Eberle is a touchback. Starters up front for the Rainbow Warriors, Il Manning, Hensley, Ta'anga Tulima, Solo Vaipulu, Ian Manning, true freshman, and Cole Levao at the right tackle. Defensive line up front for Utah State, Adewale Adeoye and Christopher Unga, familiar last name, and Fua Leilua. It's actually Adewale Adeoye, starter at defensive tackle for Utah State. Rainbow Warriors, first snap of the game from the 25-yard line. And Cole McDonald looking deep for a home run ball. That's Marcus Armstrong Brown and gets to the 32-yard line on the opposite side of the field.
And a double move. First play, Nick Rolovich talked about going into that playbook, being explosive early, and you're going to see 85. Outside receiver, slant and go. They call that a sluggo, and that's good for 41 yards. A little bit more trajectory, would have been more.
Marcus Armstrong Brown, 32 receptions, 343 yards coming in. Gets 41 there. We heard Nick Rolovich say he wants to be more aggressive and less reactionary. Cole McDonald, second snap, complete. Cedric Byrd, quick slant, positive yards, just short of the first down. Starting linebackers are Tipper Naleai, David Woodard, Chase Christiansen, and John Trell Rockmore. And the back end for Utah State on defense is Williams, Gates Ferguson, Shaq Bond, and Jamarcus Ingram.
And you mentioned a great core of linebackers, and then there's an NFL pedigree there. And you can go to Bobby Wagner, Kyle Freckle, and also Nick Virgil. Utah State produces linebackers.
They do. Pickup of 9 to Bird. It sets up 2nd and 1. Flags fly.
A false start by number 57 of the offense. It's a 5-yard penalty, and it's still 2nd down.
As the officials for tonight, the referee Cooper Castleberry. That flag against Hawaii, the 10th 3-snap penalty this season against the offensive line.
Yeah, and those are administrative things. Those are things that you need to fix. Nick Rolovich does not want to start behind the chains, and good thing they were successful on 1st down.
Backs them up to 2nd and 6. Marked at the 29-yard line. Play action. And Cole McDonald was looking for John Ursua, who was wide open, but Ursua had no idea the ball was coming his way.
Yeah, and Ursua's been sick, and that's not an excuse. He missed both Wednesdays and Thursdays practice, Robert, but he was looking to block because he expected a bubble or a hitch. And you're going to see he doesn't even turn around for this football. So obviously there's a communication issue, and they've got to get that straightened out.
Cole McDonald expected one thing. Ursua expected another. Amongst the leaders in the country offensively, both quarterback and receiver Ursua. 3rd and 6 at the 29-yard line. Cole McDonald in and out of the hands of JoJo Ward.
Yeah, and this is a situation, obviously, with the field position, Robert. I think they're going to go for it offensively. Hawaii had a lot of success early on 4th down. They've struggled a little bit lately, but Rolovich is going to roll the dice.
On offense, Hawaii 15 of 26 on 4th down. That's a clip of 58%. That's in the top 50 in all of college football. It's 4th and 6 from the 29-yard line. A couple of big, quick hits moved them down the field. Marcus Armstrong Brown and Cedric Bird. On the 4th down, Cole McDonald looking for a home run. Goes right side. Intended for Ursua, covered well.
Yeah, and that was basically cover 1. So essentially it was man-to-man coverage. In Utah State brought 6. Hawaii only has 5 offensive linemen in the back to protect. Cole McDonald felt the pressure, but he did throw that ball on timing. He just needs to throw that a little bit more outside.
And if you're a receiver at this level and the other defense wants to play you man up, you have to welcome the challenge.
Especially if you're John Ursua. He's so hard to cover with 2 people, never mind 1.
Aggies take over on offense, their first snap, 1st and 10 from their own 29-yard line. They run right side, and doing the running is Aaron Vaughns. And they're going to go quick tempo. Offensive linemen Roman Andrews, Enriquez, Quinn Ficklin, Castanera, and Sean Taylor at right tackle for Utah State. Now this is the up-tempo we're telling you about. Aggies waste no time.
Yeah, and now they look to the sidelines because they know what Hawaii's in. Hawaii's also going to look to their sidelines and try to get in the right defense. So it's a matter of who is holding the chalk last.
1st and 10 from their own 41-yard line. They run right side again, and he's still running. That's Darwin Thompson to the 20, inside the 20 in Hawaii territory. Too easy.
Yeah, and you're going to see the horizontal run game. You're going to see the vertical run game, and you're going to see tempo because here they come.
That Darwin Thompson, a 41-yard run. Then you go Thompson again. He's 5'8", 200 pounds, the junior from Jenks, Oklahoma.
Hawaii known to substitute, and this does not allow you to substitute when you go tempo.
And they continue their up-tempo. Jordan Love in the middle, in and out of the hands of his trusted tight end, Dax Raymond. That's thanks to...
Yeah, and I'll tell you, Robert, 6'5", 250, only a junior. They think he may go out early.
And Ikom Okoke delivered a shot that caused Raymond to drop the ball. A timeout's been called on the field.
Hawaii calls their first timeout of the half. 30-second timeout. 30-second.
See, tempo does that to a defense, and Starters up front for Hawaii on defense, Zeno Choi, Blessman Ta'ala, Sam Akoteo, and Derek Thomas at defensive end. The linebacking core for Hawaii, again without Jelani Tavai, it's Solomon Matautia and Panay Pavihi. On the back end for the Rainbow Warriors, Manu Hudson Rasmussen, Eugene Ford, Kalen Hicks, Ikom Okeke, and Ro Ferris. Okeke, big hit on Dax Raymond that caused that incompletion.
Yeah, and he made a tackle earlier on that long 41-yard play. So Okeke has to tackle well in the open field because there's going to be a lot of opportunities in space for number 22 from Las Vegas.
So after the timeout, Aggies back on the field facing 3rd and 8. It's marked at the 16-yard line. Jordan Love backed up from center, now in shotgun. Looks left side to throw, lets it fly, goes into the end zone, has a receiver and a defensive back who got turned around. They call it a touchdown? They call it a touchdown.
This is almost a back shoulder fade, and he really stretches them to the sidelines, and he's definitely inbounds. That's good for 16 yards, Robert. And the thing is, Hawaii blitzed. They were bringing their nickel back, Manu Hudson Rasmussen, but he was so far away from the line of scrimmage, he didn't even affect the pass rush. You have to time that thing up. You have to anticipate the snap count, and you got to be successful when you're blitzing because corners are left on an island.
And Dominic Eberle with the extra point. It's up, and it's good. Ronquavion Tarver, a 16-yard touchdown, and the Aggies lead Hawaii 7-0.
Rainbow Warrior Football on Spectrum Sports is sponsored by Bank of Hawaii and Hawaii Honda Dealers.
You're going to see on the left side of your screen the safety, number 16, Kalen Hicks, is going to come a little bit late, and that's what I was talking about. When you blitz, you have to time it up better. And then the left tackle, number 72, is going to block both the defensive end and the blitzing safety, and that puts the cornerback not only on an island, but the quarterback has enough time and is not affected and throws the ball to the outside. That's a tough pass to defend for any cornerback.
And here's the ensuing kickoff by Eberle. And again, Hawaii will get a touchback out of it and start at the 25-yard line. That 41-yard by Darwin Thompson was big on that opening drive with the Aggies.
It really was, and Ronquavion Tarver also now in the top 10 of all-time Utah State receivers with that touchdown, but very explosive on that first series.
5 plays, 71 yards, and for Tarver, his 6th touchdown reception of the season. Cole McDonald has Faruka at running back. Looking to throw again. That pass is deflected. And getting his hand up, getting the paw up for Utah State is Chase Christiansen.
Christiansen doing a nice job of reading the quarterback's eyes in that particular situation. It appeared Ursua was open, but a great job by the linebacker with the athleticism to reach up with the right hand.
You see the name. Looks like Christensen.
Yes, it does.
It's pronounced Christiansen, who had educated earlier today. 2nd and 10. Cole McDonald looks to throw yet again. Nobody there. Nobody open. He keeps the eyes downfield and somehow delivers it, but they're calling it incomplete to Cedric Bird.
Hope we get a chance to see this because that official came all the way from the other side of the field. Cole does a nice job. Ooh, that to me is a penalty.
That's a launch. That's
a quarterback that you have to protect, and he's launching, even though he hits with his shoulder. To me, I think that needs to be called. And you know me, I always err on the side of the defensive player, and Nate Ilawa and both David Hallam's, we had a discussion about launching and hitting with your head.
But
the ruling of an incomplete pass is under further review.
They're reviewing the catch. They're not reviewing the contact made by Deontay Fortenberry on Hawaii quarterback Cole McDonald. That was a big hit.
Yeah, and Cole's a tough guy, and he's going to get back up, but to me, he definitely launched from the field, and he did try to lead with the shoulder, but it's still launching.
Here's how much the game has changed. In your mind, take yourself back to 1983, and then take yourself into 12 or 13 years following that, the National Football League. You get paid to do that.
Yeah, and we were talking about that as well. My senior year, out of 11 games, I got 8 hits of the game, and I think I would have been kicked out of 5 of those games at least. And the game has just changed, but you teach tackling differently. You understand the importance of a quarterback, even at this level, where you cannot launch and try to affect the quarterback's health.
And I think it becomes a touchy subject when you mention the word launch, because hitting a player is one thing.
Right.
When you launch, when it didn't need to be a launch for no reason, that's when it becomes a big question mark.
Yeah, because on defense, they talk about a 6-inch rising blow, and it all starts from the ground. But when you have 2 feet off the ground, that constitutes launching. And it wasn't egregious where he led with the head, but to me, does it go back to, is it a penalty? And could he have eased up on the quarterback, which I think the answer is yes.
After further review, the pass was incomplete. However, number 27 targeted the quarterback. He is disqualified from the game. It's a 15-yard penalty and an automatic first down.
Jim, not only did I think it was launching because the body launched, there was contact to the helmet.
Well, and the thing that is interesting is they wouldn't even review that play if there wasn't the questionable catch or drop in this manner. So I didn't know that they could now go back and then eject the player.
So Deontay Fortenberry, a 5'9" senior.
But did you see Matt Wells? He was actually giving a clinic on why you are being kicked out of this football game, young man. I like that.
So as he leaves the stadium, Rainbows on offense get 1st and 10 from their own 40-yard line. Hawaii trails 7-0. Nicole McDonald has Dayton Foruta trailing Cole Lavau, pulling right tackle, going from the right side to the left side.
Really good tackle by
Adewale.
Yeah. Adeoye did a nice job of going laterally down the line of scrimmage. Big number 55.
Foruta, over the last 2 or 3 games, has not been the same fruit train in this offense, mostly because they've been trailing. He did get a yard, so on 2nd and 9, McDonald looks deep down the field again, and again, seemingly miscommunication between the receivers and the quarterback.
And the reason why is this is run and shoot concepts, and if you get to see eventually the all-22, you'll see that safeties, linebackers, people are moving at the snap. They're disguising their coverages, and they're creating confusion amongst the quarterback and his wide receivers. It happened earlier in the year, and that was more expected, but this late in the year, Hawaii has to get on the same page with the quarterback and receivers.
So we're getting word that the officials specifically called the replay to check if it was targeted, and not only complete or incomplete by Ursula. For McDonald, this time he connects with JoJo Ward across midfield, across the 45-yard line. Officials mark it at the 14.
Yeah, and Hawaii's doing some nice things offensively. You got to see JoJo Ward come on the slant and then make a couple of moves, and here's a bunch of white jerseys doing a nice job of defensive ends, linebackers. JoJo Ward picks up a nice chunk of yardage.
So JoJo Ward, 37 catches coming in, averaging 16.3 yards per reception. Off play action. Cole McDonald, high pass to Ursula, but if you ask Ursula, he'll be down on himself for not holding on to it.
Yeah, because I'm not sure how high John has to, or if he needs to jump. And John has to get better going over the middle. When you think about John's next level potential, you start thinking about the inside receivers for the New England Patriots, Julian Edelman, those type of guys. They're going to get hit, and they're going to get hit often, but you have to make that type of catch.
2nd and 10 Hawaii from the 44-yard line of Utah State. Rainbow Warriors trail 7-0. Cole McDonald has time, looks down the field, picked off, in and out of the hands of Ursula, and then picked off.
Is an intercepted pass by the defense. First down, Utah State.
I'm not sure this is a perfect pass, but it's another situation where Ursula has to make this catch.
So the guy making the INT is David Woodward, the linebacker. Goes and gets it. Leading tackler in the conference, number 12 in the country, averaging 11.3 tackles per game. That's his first INT.
And at the top of the route, Ursua did the right thing because he came back to the football. He found the window, but he has to catch that ball and secure it. Give credit for guys hitting him as he's catching the football, but I think John Ursua would like that one back.
So Utah State, amongst the leaders in all of college football, that's 22 takeaways this season.
And I think 15 interceptions, I'm not sure if I'm correct on that, but that's just phenomenal in terms of taking the football away.
So it's actually 13 interceptions. 22 takeaways is a ridiculous number. That's number 3 in the country coming into the game. And Darwin Thompson runs left side. So 22 takeaways, depending on what Georgia Southern did. They were number 2 in the country at 22. Kansas number 1 with 23 takeaways.
And what else is amazing about that is they don't only take it away, Robert, they take it to the house. They have 4 touchdowns on defense and 4 on special teams.
It's like ridiculous numbers and ridiculous running by Darwin Thompson. It looked like a would-be maximum gain of a yard. Breaks through a couple of would-be tackles, gets to the outside, and he's deep in Hawaii territory. And here we go again, up-tempo. Marking at the 11-yard line.
46-yard play.
That's a 46-yard run. So Darwin Thompson, starter at running back, is unbelievable. 4 carries, 94 yards in the first quarter. So Jordan Love, completed pass, arm tackle, breakthrough, Aaron Vaughn again.
Yeah, and you explained it, Robert, so vividly. Arm tackle, breakthrough. That's what happened on the last play. That's the most discouraging thing for Corey Bertune, the defensive coordinator, in his coaching staff.
And again, they go quick, they go up tempo. I mean, this is next level up tempo. And why not? They give it to Darwin Thompson, he gets into the end zone. For a touchdown.
Yeah, a little read option right here. Nice job of understanding that Kalen Hicks is waiting for the quarterback. So what does he do? He gives it on the inside handoff. Good job of finding the end zone.
Now there's a little stutter step to help hold Hicks to the outside. And then he goes under Zeno Choi.
Thompson's averaging over 7 yards a carry.
But Eberle with the extra point, and just like that, Hawaii trails 14-0. 4 plays, 62 yards, 51 seconds. In just over 5.5 minutes in the first quarter, Utah State already has 104 yards rushing.
Yeah, and Thompson's averaging 18.4 yards a carry. He has 5 attempts for 92 yards and a touchdown. So he came into this game averaging 7 yards a carry, but he almost has 100, and we still have 9 minutes to go in the first quarter.
So that's 28 times in the last 33 games for Utah State under head coach Matt Wells that the Aggies have had 100-yard rushing. It's also the 18th scoring drive for Utah State in less than 60 seconds. Eberle with the kickoff here. He goes even deeper into the end zone. Now think about that. 18 scoring drives of less than 1 minute is second in the country, only to Alabama, who had 20. And who knows what they did today.
Yeah, and Tua Tagovailoa had another great day that's solidifying his top standing in the Heisman Trophy race. But you're right, that's an incredible figure when you think that they're kind of not just a run and shoot type of offense. They're doing it through the run game. They're doing it through the passing game. They will stretch you vertically and horizontally, but they're getting in the end zone quick.
Hawaii quarterback Cole McDonald started 2 for 2 for 51 yards. Since he's 1 for 5 and interception. Now back to the completion mark. JoJo Ward, right side, first down, Rainbow Warriors.
Yeah, and it has to be disconcerting to Craig Stutzman, the passing game coordinator, because Cole McDonald's trying to go through his progression, and he's had a couple of drops early. He just has to continue to try to execute and make sure he stays on the read long enough and doesn't get happy feet.
11-yard pickup. McDonald to Ward. Now the give. And this time running back is not Baruta. Looks like Fred Holly.
Yeah, Holly is finally healthy again. Brian Smith, the running back coach, is glad to have him back. But they expect him to break tackles, to be a little bit more explosive than Dayton Ferruta. Because right now, Robert, there are no holes to run through. And I talked to Brian Smith. He says people are scheming our center in terms of run stunts. They are stunting the run game, and understanding taking care of those 2 A gaps is the most important thing they can do on run defense.
And the most successful this season has been Ferruta at running back. Also a big contributor in blocking to help protect his quarterback. Cole McDonald rolls right side. Intended for Sharsh, incomplete.
Yeah, and the biggest thing about this offense and the success early in the season is how quickly Colt got the ball out of his hands. It was 1.8, 1.9, 2 seconds. There's pressure inside. Anytime an opponent has blitzed Hawaii, has sent 5 or 6, Colt McDonald does not have time to get to his second read.
McDonald 4 of 13. 77 yards. And his 5th interception of the season. Looks like false start Hawaii.
Cole Laval, the right tackle.
A false start by number 72 of the offense. It's a 5-yard penalty, and it's still 3rd down.
Yeah, and Cole has got caught in his stance earlier in the year. He's 350 pounds. Next year, when you talk about him being another year in the system, needs to lose 20, 30 pounds, because the run and shoot requires you're on an island. There's no tight ends. There's no 2 backs with the maximum protection. You have to block their edge rusher every snap.
What the coaches do like is the mean streak of Laval to the outside. The second false start penalty against Hawaii today. Cole McDonald pressured out of the pocket, no place to run. And he stopped for a loss of yards.
Yeah, and they like his athleticism too. I just watched him kick step and really set nicely, did a nice job. It's little things, it's execution, and Cole's struggling with his accuracy as well.
And the 2 defenders who made the play, their names look like they should be playing for the team in green. It's Tipa Naleai and Suli Tamaivena. The punt here by Stan Gaudian for Hawaii. Fair caught. Just short of the 30. They're going to mark it at the 29-yard line by Utah State. It is not Stan Gaudian, a new punter. We'll introduce you when we come back. There wasn't Stan Gaudian attempting to punt for Hawaii. Instead, it was Ben Scruton. The 5th time he's punted this season. Coming in 4 punts, an average of 36.5 yards, a long of 42.
You want me to tell you the difference? One is better with his right foot, one is better with his left foot. They both from Australia and can kick with both, but it's all about strategy.
And we got to be honest. We've seen them during camp.
They look
actually
alike.
put 2 punters in there,
yes,
to throw the other team off. After that punt, officials mark it at the 32-yard line. 1st and 10, Utah State. Complete across the middle. Jordan Love. He gets rid of it quick.
he does, and he's a good decision maker, and he spends all that time studying film, all that pre-snap stuff that people don't talk about. Really a smart, cerebral quarterback.
Another flag on the field.
For 51 of the offense. It's a 5-yard penalty, and it's still 2nd down.
And another thing, Robert, when you talked earlier about him winning Mountain West Conference Offensive Player of the Week 4 times in one season, that must mean he's a lead candidate for the Offensive Player of the Year, and rightfully so. I mean, he's done it in, like Tua Tagovailoa, in the first half, 3 quarters, he's put up incredible numbers.
So 800 less yards than Cole McDonald, 12 less touchdown passes than Cole McDonald, but there's a lot of love for Jordan Love in the MWC. And again, we see, wow, Love to Jordan Nathan.
Nathan does a nice job of understanding quarters defense, where the linebacker is going to be, and how to come back to the ball and catch it cleanly with his hands and then advance it upfield.
And again, there's a big tight end we talked about. Love to Dax Raymond. And Dax Raymond doing his Gronkowski impersonation.
Yeah, you're exactly right. He's breaking tackles. He's showing athleticism, a little bit of Kelsey Gronkowski-like.
That's a load at tight end. They put him in motion. Now he's leading his quarterback around the outside, and Jordan Love lost his footing.
But you do not want to be number 16, Kalen Hicks, because Jordan Love put a move on him in the open field that you don't want to watch on film there.
He stuck the foot inside, planted a defender, and then kept going. And now they run to the right side. It's not Darwin Thompson. This time Gerald Bright.
Yeah, and Bright came into the game averaging 6 yards. And we talked about Thompson having 7 yards. I mean, when you average 6.19 yards on first down, it certainly makes David Yost, the offensive coordinator's job, a lot easier.
And Bright has had his moments. 134 yards against New Mexico State earlier this year. Love to the end zone. Broken up.
Heck of a play by Hawaii defensive back, and that's Corey Bethley, who played last week, who had 9 tackles, the second leading tackler. Watch what he does right here. He stays with the play longer than the opponent. He does not give up. He does not look back. Nice play, number 13.
So Bethley got the hand in there. The intended receiver, Jordan Nathan, who had a step on.
Bethley, only a freshman. They like this kid because he's a good tackler.
He's from Chino, California. Listed as 5'10", 200 pounds. At his first action last week. And off the give, I thought it was a play fake, but Gerald Bright took it from Jordan Love and gets to the perimeter.
And just as I talked about Bethley being a good tackle, if you get a chance to see Bright's move really set him in the open field, these running backs do a nice job of setting defenders and putting the foot in the ground and exploding.
And tempo again. Love tries to get to the outside, but caught and brought down by Cameron Hayes.
Hayes, another guy. We're talking 5'6" defensive backs. Abraham Elamimian rotating these guys in. He just wants to find a guy that can tackle, that can cover, that's going to make plays.
Now they're going to be subbing all night. It's because of the tempo. A lot of it because of tempo.
Yeah, the little confusion amongst Tevarua Eldridge and the defensive linemen. They're set now. Now they're switching.
First and 10 for Jordan Love and Utah State. The ball is marked at the 18-yard line. They give it run right side. Bright has a bright future if he runs like that.
Yeah, but blocking had a bright future as well. There's nobody that had contained. That's an 18-yard run, and you got to see great hesitation, good vision. He's nothing happened on the inside, and he continues to go horizontal, and there has to be a jersey in green that's responsible for what they call contain.
I mean, he turns the corner after he bounces. He saw nothing inside, and then nobody home off the edge. And again, Dominic Eberle, another point after attempt, and it's good. 21-0. Aggies lead the Rainbow Warriors. Let's go inside the number tonight. And the number we're talking about is 20.5. It's what Hawaii's been averaging on the scoreboard in their last 4 games. Over the first 6 games, Rainbow Warriors averaged 42 points. That's a 22-point differential.
Yeah, it's almost inexplicable because they were so exciting to watch. And it was fundamentals. It was catching balls short, deep. It was running backs getting extra yards. It was linebackers making tackles. It was defensive linemen. And all of a sudden, this last 3 or 4 games skid. They're lacking fundamentals, and it's almost like they lost their swagger.
Now, inside the numbers brought to you by Heineken. 21-0. Aggies lead the Rainbow Warriors. And still 4:57 left in the first quarter. Another kickoff by Eberle. This one brought out. It was 3 yards deep, but still brought out. Elijah Dale. It's not been a perfect game by Hawaii. There's been miscues.
Yeah, you're going to see a ball that's not even near John or Sewer. Cole McDonald struggling early. Then you see John drop a football, which we haven't seen that many times this season. And then another ball that floats and is over the head of Cedric Byrd. And Cole McDonald is still trying to teach these young receivers the proper route tree and how to accelerate at the top of the route.
A lot of thought process goes into where a receiver goes in this offense. And not all of it is charted before the snap is played. Depends on where that secondary wind up. Cole McDonald has time. Cole McDonald looks deep. Has a receiver open. Cedric Byrd makes the catch.
That was as good as a deep ball throw as you're going to see. I really believe that the Utah State defender didn't think Cole could throw it that far. You talk about arm strength. Watch him step into that ball, get his hips into the ball. All that power starts from the ground. A great deep ball. And Cole has done that all year long. 51 yards.
That's a 51-yard connection and a touchdown-saving tackle by Jamarcus Ingram. 51. McDonald to Byrd. Is it enough? Is it a wake-up call for this offense to find a rhythm? And our first down to give is to Fred Holly.
And I think the discouraging thing, Robert, is you have to run the ball, at least efficiently, to set up the pass. You cannot rely on just throwing the football 60 or 70 times a game, and they have not been able to get the run game started in the last couple of games. That, to me, is the biggest deficiency on the offense.
I've always felt in this offense, there needs to be a rhythm in the pass game to get them to at least believe there's a threat. And it's usually 5, 6, 7 completions in a row. Then you sneak a running back, get big yards and pressure. Oh, he picks up the blitz. Cole McDonald overthrows Cedric Byrd. A good job, though. Utah State brought an extra man. He gets cut. He's on the ground. Cole McDonald had some time.
Yeah, and I think protection was good. They picked up the blitz, just as you explained. And I think Cole threw that off his back foot, expecting pressure when there was none.
2-yard pickup by Holly on first down. Sets up 3rd and 8. It's marked at the 28-yard line.
This is interesting because Cole McDonald and Ursua just had a discussion. It's kind of schoolyard in terms of what route you may see here versus trips.
Well, check that 24-yard line. McDonald rolls out right side. And again, miscommunication. He was looking for Byrd to go toward the end zone. Takes a shot, and Byrd pulled up short of the 5-yard line.
Yeah, Cole takes a shot here, and you're going to see it right here. Really a nice job of right underneath his chin. A clean tackle. But again, I didn't think that affected the throw. I agree with what you said, Robert. Just miscommunication amongst the quarterback and the receiver. The receiver should never quit on a route.
What a great name. The guy that hit Cole McDonald. His name is Jacoby Wildman.
That is unbelievable. And he was a wild man on that play.
That's a wild hit. That's a big-time hit. Legal. Big hit.
Hawaii calls their second timeout of the half. 30-second timeout.
So 3:25 left in the opening quarter. Hawaii driving but trailing 21-0.
Yeah, and a good timeout. And we talked about this earlier in the season. Offenses use their timeout. Head coaches use their timeouts in the first half based upon critical situation. And to me, this is a critical situation. 4th and 8, fourth quarter. And the reason why it is you're down 21 points. You have to get points and preferably a touchdown, not a field goal.
And trust us, in chapter 1 of the coaching manual, it never says go for it on 4th and 8. Never.
Almost never. But I'll tell you what, that manual is being rewritten as we speak.
I mean, the rules have changed.
Yes, they have.
But chapter 1 does not tell you to go for it on 4th and 8. But they're not going to go for it. They made a decision to go for a field goal. Ryan Mescal.
41 yards, Robert. Remember what happened last week? Mescal had that kick 6 return. Fresno State right before the half. This is not as long.
So Mescal, his kick is up and good. He's 12 of 15 this season as a field goal kicker for the University of Hawaii. Hawaii calls timeout. They showed going for it at 4th and 8. They make a decision on the sideline.
And I want to talk about Noah Borden, the snapper, because that is 176 straight snaps without a bad snap. He's a semifinalist for the Werfel Award, which is community service, GPA, obviously playing football, and that is my favorite player on this football team, the captain, Noah Borden.
I'm just amazed that he's not the first Borden to be a long snapper in this program. And there's one more Borden coming along the way. But before them, it was Ingram. The brother thing.
And then Brody
the
Nakama.
specialty, yes.
You know that Hawaii in 125 games has not had a punt block? Second only to Auburn. That starts with the snapper.
And it's always there.
I think this guy could actually play in the NFL. He's a little smaller than you want, but you cannot line up a guy over him anyway. And he can cover punts. He's just a heck. He'd be playing linebacker if he wasn't so valuable as a long snapper.
That's another thing too. Every long snapper Hawaii's had wanted to play linebacker as well.
And they could
the two Ingram brothers.
Oh, they were the best looking guys we had.
They've always wanted to play linebacker. So Mesko with the kickoff here. To the corner of the end zone, left side. Utah State working it up. Across the 10. Lots of room to run. Across the 30-yard line. And still going. Down the sideline. What a big play by Savon Scarver. And do not be surprised.
Number 24 has to leave the game for a play. He lost his helmet.
Scarver is all that.
And more, because they are one of the top kick return teams in the country.
And look who saves it. It's a 66-yard return. And the kicker, Mesko, saves a touchdown.
Former rugby player and soccer player.
Scarver earlier this season has a 100-yard kickoff return for touchdown. Also a 99. And Love, completed pass. Short. Dumped it off to Gerald Bright. And Gerald Bright gets near the 20-yard line.
And he's one of only 2 players, Robert, that has 2 touchdown returns for kickoffs. That's why I said it's not just the offense, it's the special teams and the defense. They are explosive.
So again, up-tempo, Jordan Love. And the ball popped out. He completes it behind the line of scrimmage. And the ball gets knocked out.
Yeah, how many options can you have on one play? First of all, it's read option, so he decides to pull it based upon the end man on the line of scrimmage. Then he still has the option to throw the bubble screen. I mean, that's a lot to defend on.
Fumble recovered by the offense.
I like that play.
On the short side of the field as well. It's still a loss of 4 after the fumble. Again, this is set up great field position thanks to Savon Scarver. How do you average 35 for kickoff return?
And that goes against all the analytics we talked about field catching kickoffs.
Scarver looking end zone, throws to the outside shoulder. That pass is caught by Ronquavion Tarver, who already has a touchdown in this game.
And he's also in the top 10 in receiving now, not only in touchdowns. That's the toughest throw to defend, Robert. The back shoulder fade, 22 yards.
22-yard kickoff. And they're going to call touchdown, but his knee was clearly down.
I think he was down.
Clearly. I don't think the whistle blew, though.
He didn't get in the end zone anyway, but I think he's down right
there. I think it's still a bad mark of where the knee touched. And again, they give it to Gerald Bright. There's a bunch of green jerseys that time swarming.
And do you hear the crowd? Solomon Mautautia, who played so well last year, has to be a thumper. He has to come downhill. He has to be physical. That's what you expect out of your linebackers.
You saw the end of the last play. The pass completion to Tarver. There's some extracurricular pushing and shoving. It involved Solomon. I like fired up Solomon. 27 is Mautautia. Former Campbell Sabre.
Yeah, and this is an unbalanced line. There's a center, a guard, and a tackle to the offensive right. Expect something to come back.
It's 3rd and goal from the 4-yard line. They give again to Bright. And the future is not as bright as it was the last time when he carried the ball. In fact, it's not bright. Darwin Thompson in at running back.
4th down. This is huge. And they go in tempo just like Tom Brady does on 4th and short for the New England Patriots. Try to confuse the defense.
And they're a solid red zone offense. On 4th and goal, It's marked just short of the 1 yard line. They're going to go for it.
And they know what Hawaii's in personnel-wise. They're checking this play at the line of scrimmage.
Darwin Thompson at running back. 10 rushing touchdowns entering this game for the Aggies. And why not? No, the quarterback stuck it in his belly, and Jordan Love kept it.
Love, good for a 1 yard touchdown. But I'll tell you, he's not extremely fast, but he makes really good decisions, and he's athletic enough to make you miss, and there's the set right there on the Rainbow defender.
He makes a great decision.
Great
Had
decision.
he left the ball,
I think Hawaii had the inside pressure.
yeah, in the belly of Darwin Thompson, the defense was prepared. And now the extra point for Dominic Eberle. And it's now 28-3.
That's the end of the first quarter.
And a touchdown by Love, the ensuing extra point. This first quarter is in the books. 27-3 here at Aloha Stadium. During that timeout, you see the guy delivering the pizza? His life just changed. Watch when the box turns around. Look at the inside of the pizza box. We're going to show it to you. It says, "Will you marry me?"
Now, what's your thoughts on where's the diamond? There it is.
There it is. He even took the knee and delivered the ring. I don't know. The pepperoni looks so good.
Yeah, and look at the cheers. You know, you talk about a good setting to watch this game, even though the score is not something that the Hawaii fans have, you know, obviously watched this first quarter. But will you remember that for the rest of your life is the question.
But that guy will never forget it because none of his friends will let him forget. Now the ensuing kickoff here is taken short of the 5 yard line by Elijah Dale, fighting to get to the 20 across the 20. That's where he's finally stopped.
And so analytics tells you fair catch, you get the ball on 25. But if you are Utah State, it tells you return kickoffs, you do it as good as anybody in the country.
I mean, you got Savon Scarver, who had a 66-yard return just recently. And already he's got 100 for a touchdown and a 99 for a touchdown as well against Wyoming.
Yeah, one of the nation's leaders and really well blocked as well.
Cole McDonald leads the offense back onto the field. It's marked at the 21-yard line. Do they have an answer for 7 plays, 34 yards, and a Jordan Love touchdown run for the Aggies? McDonald looking to throw, has all kinds of time, and an open receiver in Marcus Armstrong Brown at the 40-yard line.
Yeah, really nice pocket. And when you play quarters, that allows Marcus Brown on the outside to come back to the football. The first thing he's going to do is get up on his toes as quickly as possible. JoJo Ward wide open on the other side of the field for a touch.
I mean, it was a 19-yard connection to Armstrong Brown, but on the opposite side, we just showed you, JoJo Ward was gone. First down Hawaii, trailing 28-3. Shovel pass, Peruta, all kinds of room. And he drops the shoulder on a defender.
Yeah, and that's a third level defender, number 4 for Utah State. Wow, Aaron Wade, he does not, you watch Aaron Wade right now. He's coming with as much power as he possibly can get, and he gets turned vertically.
Get erased by Peruta.
That was a fruit roll-up.
Yeah. In that first quarter, Utah State 28 points. Second game in a row they scored 28. First time in program history they've done that.
In the first quarter, amazing.
Gain of 7 by Peruta off the shovel pass. In play action, Cole McDonald fakes the give to Peruta, tries to complete it. Unsuccessfully to Armstrong Brown.
Yeah, and Armstrong Brown was covered. Cole really tried to force that football in. And what goes back to a couple of plays ago, quarterback has a half-field read. There were 2 receivers on that side of the field, and I think the other receiver was more open. Cole tried to force that one in there, and he does have a strong arm. He's got a lot of velocity on balls, but you got to be careful about that gunslinging mentality.
And as effective as the RPO can be, without the threat of successfully running, it's hard to get a linebacker to bite on the play action. Third entry. Now this is the Cole McDonald we expected to see this season. When you hear the conversation about RPO, the run-pass option, we've seen Cole McDonald will run the football very well.
Yeah, this quarterback counter, watch Laval come over and do a nice job of the log block, but really a great job by the linebackers reading the pulling tackle. Sometimes it's a guard, sometimes it's a tackle, but a nice job with the linebackers flowing. And we talked about linebacker U. That's Utah State.
They get the pressure. Devin Anderson gets the finish on Cole McDonald. And 4th and 1 in their own territory at the 49-yard line. Hawaii needs midfield. They're going to go for it.
They're trying to get him to jump.
They give to Faruta. He's stuck in the backfield and going nowhere. Excellent defensive pressure. Penetration by the Aggies.
Yeah, and when you can't get a
Ruling on
yard.
the field is that the runner was short of the line to gain. First down, Utah State.
You can't get a yard on first down. You see the frustration of Hawaii's head coach, Nick Rolovich. And you also see the jubilation of Matt Wells, the head coach for Utah State.
Yeah, David Woodward, the linebacker, who had the INT earlier in the game, leading the swarming defense against Dayton Faruta.
Yeah, Keith Patterson came over from Arizona State, the new defensive coordinator, and I'll tell you what, everybody talks about 49 points a game in this offense. This defense is legit.
And his offense may have been stopped in the line of scrimmage, behind the line of scrimmage. Now, what could have been a 6-yard loss will end up being a 2 or 3-yard loss because Darwin Thompson ran through a couple tackles again.
Yeah, Bless
In the backfield.
Metala was in the backfield. Also, Kanai Picanso was in the backfield. Guys got to wrap up. They got to keep their feet moving.
Boy was there defensively. You got to love the effort.
Yeah, and a good job of making them go east and west because you will get the flow of the linebackers and the safeties.
Disruption in the backfield. And Jordan Love connects to the right side. Completed pass to Scarver. And all kinds of hitting going on.
Yeah, I think Kalen hits a little bit too much cushion, but a real nice job making the tackle in the open field.
Sets up 3rd down. It's marked at the 48-yard line. Aggies need to get to the 39. After taking over on downs. Well, he failed on 4th and 1 from their own 49. Love, double pump, has a running back. Out of the backfield open. Darwin Thompson, another big play by number 5.
Yeah, and give a lot of credit to the offensive line, only a 3-man rush, but then also the quarterback going through his progression and the check down, knowing where the check down is, and then you're going to see the running back do the rest, 34 yards.
34-yard pickup by Thompson, dragged down this time by Zeno Choi. So he's got a 36-yard reception and big runs of 46 and 41 yards in previous possessions.
Yeah, in a play like that where the defense is not set because of the tempo, and here's Love pulling the ball.
On 2nd and 5. Whistles blow, the ball was
On the
loose.
field as if the runner was down before the ball came out. 3rd down.
I thought Love was clearly down.
I think it's a good call.
Yeah. The Love was clearly down, got hit by Zeno Choi, then coughed it up.
Okay, last time, Robert, they went unbalanced. They're coming back with the tight end, so now this is more of a balanced formation, but a tough formation. They call this 11 personnel. Tight end opposite of the 3 receivers. So you have the passing strength on one side and the running strength on the bottom of your screen.
And a big target to catch the ball in 87 on that left side. That's Dax Raymond, the tight end you're referring to.
A false start on the offense. The entire team was never set for 1 second. It's a 5-yard penalty, and it's still 3rd down.
It's 1001. You have to be set, the entire team, before you shift or motion.
He didn't love the call, the entire team.
And I like the explanation. You're right, exactly.
It backs him up to 3rd and 8 outside the 10-yard line. In fact, back up to the 13-yard line. Love has pressure, gets out of the pocket. Being chased by Zeno Choi. Got some help along the way and tried to go to the backside of the end zone looking for his big tight end. It was short, incomplete.
Yeah, and give credit where credit is due. That was a long play extended by the athleticism of Jordan Love, but the Hawaii
Number
defenders had
76
good coverage.
has to leave the game for a play. His helmet came off.
Second time in the first half here. A football player must sit out a play because he lost his lead. Now Everly will attempt a field goal here. A 28-yard effort. This is nothing for him. He's that good. Gets a squiggly, and he missed it. Got
That was
blocked.
blocked. Yeah, there was inside penetration in Hawaii, one of the best kick blocking teams in the country year after year.
That kicker is all that.
Media timeout.
Welcome back. Let's check out how it works. Presented by Central Pacific Bank.
Yeah, Robert, first of all, formation-wise in college football, there's an extra offensive lineman on the right side of the formation, but you're going to see 99 Zeno Choi do a nice job on the double team in terms of knocking him back. And Kendall Yoon, who has a block punt, now has a block kick. Zeno knocks 52 back, and that's Sean Taylor. And Kendall Yoon has the inside penetration. And there's a lot of guys, Robert, that will get to a kick, but there's not a lot of guys that will block a kick.
That's a big-time double team with Zeno Choi to push back Sean Taylor. Offensive lineman there for Utah State. Comodano has time, looking for all of it. There's a flag in the play, intended for JoJo Ward.
Yeah, and I think the defender restricted JoJo Ward's ability to catch this football. I think it's going to be defensive pass interference.
But I like the aggressiveness. They're down 28-3.
Pass interference by number 23 of the defense. It's a 15-yard penalty and an automatic first down.
And there's a term for that called sudden change. You make a big play on special teams or offense, you come back in and throw the ball deep. Sudden change.
But Gage Ferguson is who the penalty is on for Utah State. Officials mark it up now. It's at the 35-yard line. Hawaii faces first and 10.
Utah State coming off the left side.
The 28-3, Cole McDonald has time. Makes a quick decision to take off and run. Gets just short of the 40-yard line. Let's check in with the third member of our broadcast team, Scott Robb. Scott?
Hey, thanks a lot, guys. Well, Hawaii's offensive line has been pretty healthy all season long. Unfortunately, though, right guard Solo Vaipulu had his pads off and was escorted by the trainers back to the locker room. His family followed as well, so we'll keep an eye on his situation, but he will not be available, it appears, at least for the rest of this half. Back up to you guys.
Scott, appreciate that. So with Vaipulu out, he's replaced by Alessandro Sunia at right guard. And Peruta gets hard yards up the middle.
Yeah, and Solo Vaipulu has been the most consistent, the most aggressive, the best offensive lineman. Only a freshman played the Polynesian Bowl last year, and he has a big-time future. So this is a huge job for Sunia, number 77 from American Samoa, Leone High School.
So he's 6'3", 320 pounds. And Vaipulu's had a great season for a true freshman. Boy, the only offensive line in the country to start two true freshmen, him and Il Manning. 3rd and 2. Play action. Cole McDonald stuck it in the belly of Dayton Peruta, pulled it out and tried to connect over the shoulder of Ursua.
And I'm thinking this is a drop, unless the DB made a great play. This is a phenomenally thrown football. This is NFL style right here. Watch where this ball comes in. Again, John just drops that football. Again, he's missed a couple of practices. He's had the flu this week, but he's not playing like the nation's best wide receiver.
Now, it wouldn't have been an easy catch. And we're talking about a guy who does lead the country. 76 receptions, 1,083 yards, is second in the country. 14 receiving touchdowns, is tops in the country. For 4th and 2, Hawaii again on 4th down. And this time the quick stop.
Nice throw.
Marcus Armstrong Brown across midfield.
And that's what Marcus Armstrong Brown does best. He uses that big body to post up in the paint. The outside receiver sets the defensive back to get leverage on the slant, and then 10 yards later, first down Hawaii. Great throw by Cole McDonald.
So a 10-yard pickup on 4th and 2. Hawaii trails 28-3. 7:51 left here in the first half. Cole McDonald 8 of 21 for 164 yards passing. Looking to throw yet again. Gets pressured backside, feels it, and Cole McDonald gets out of trouble and makes a quick decision to take off.
Yeah, and David Woodward, you're going to see some speed by that linebacker because Cole McDonald runs 10-8 in the 100. And the linebacker recognized he had what's called second level contain. He came out of coverage and really did a nice job of tracking Cole's hip. Cole with all that speed and all that ability.
McDonald and the offense now 2nd and 2, a pickup of 8 yards. It makes McDonald now the leading rusher for Hawaii with 11. Darwin Thompson for Utah State, 8 carries, 96 yards. And another false start.
Yeah, and you talked earlier about the offensive line not having a lot of holding calls.
A false start by number 77 of the offense. It's a 5-yard penalty, and it's still 2nd down.
Yeah, and not having a lot of personal fouls, but there have been a lot of procedure calls. And that's the new guy.
Well, it's the 12th this season. 12 pre-snap penalties against the offensive line. Amongst the starters, only 3 holding calls this season.
And you mentioned earlier, it's also one of 11 offensive lines in the country without a senior. So this is a young football team. Only one true senior on the offensive side of the ball. Marcus Armstrong Brown.
2nd and 7, Cole McDonald, quick hit. JoJo Bird, and nowhere to run.
JoJo Bird. So you're now R.J. Hollins, because it's JoJo Ward and Cedric Bird, but R.J. keeps saying those two names together.
Offside by number 91 of the defense, lined up in the neutral zone. It's a 5-yard penalty and replay 2nd down.
See, he's hedging his bet. He can't pick the 1. So he picks the 2. And big picture, RJ is a great point. If all the attention is based on John Ursua, you'd expect other bodies to get open in this offense.
So you are agreeing that R.J. Hollis is a prophet? R.J. Hollis is a storyteller?
Smart.
Smart.
2nd and 2 now. Utah State showing blitz. They come, and it's picked up nicely by Ferruta, but nobody home.
Yeah, and early in that route, John Ursua was not open. He became open later in that route, but eventually Cole has to get rid of the football. That's not on the offensive line. That's on the quarterback.
I thought the blitz was picked up exceptionally well by Ferruta.
So right now, he's not. Now he's open right there. That ball has to be out of Cole's hands. But I'll tell you, the amount of deep ball throws that Cole McDonald is responsible for, that's one of the best things he has done all season long.
Well, this offense has produced 52 what they call chunk plays. That's 20 or more yards. And another attempt at a chunk play, defended well by Gage Ferguson, intended for Cedric Bird.
Yeah, and it's not face guarding.
A personal foul, roughing the passer by number 10 of the defense. It's a 15-yard penalty and an automatic first down.
So Tipa Naleai gets a shot on Cole McDonald.
Yeah, way late. And that is going to be called at every level of football.
It was backside well after McDonald got rid of it. I mentioned those chunk plays. 52 of them for the Hawaii offense at 20 or more yards. 43 of them have been in the pass game.
Yeah,
and 9 of those have been plus 50.
Yeah, there's no question that Hawaii's offense, when they execute, is capable of putting up points. They have to get 7 here, at least before the half.
It's 28-3. 5:14 left here in the first half. Utah State leads the Rainbow Warriors. Cole McDonald has time and almost picked off. Should have been picked off.
Yeah, deep dig route by 85, Marcus Armstrong Brown. Ball thrown a little bit in front of him. You're going to see Cole climb a little in the pocket. Ball just a little too far forward. Again, judging the speed of the receivers and all those other intangibles. But again, Cole has to bring that ball a little bit more outside.
Gage Ferguson has probably never seen an easier pick in his life.
Yeah, big time. And these guys do really well with taking the ball away.
21 coming in takeaways. They've got 22 now this season. A run play here by Fred Holley and knocked out of bounds by Ferguson. First one there was Suli Tamaivena.
And a good job of stepping out of the tackle and showing a real nice lateral burst.
There's a couple of Polynesian last names that, if you ask me, are wearing the wrong colors.
Yeah, and you and I both go through the lineups every week and ask ourselves, how come that young man is not playing for Hawaii?
There's a lot of Polynesian names on this Utah State team. 3rd and 6 for Cole McDonald on the Hawaii offense. And flags fly yet again.
A false start by number 72 of the offense. It's a 5-yard penalty, and it's still 3rd down.
The second time against Coloval tonight. Hawaii starting right tackle. Again, a newcomer to the program, like Waipulu and Manning.
You mentioned the Hawaii players on Utah State. They actually have 3 from Hawaii. KJ Ulovale from Kahuku. Also, Siotame Ulovale from Kahuku, and freshman Hale Motu Apuaka from Punahou.
Now 3rd and 11. Here comes the blitz again. And Cole McDonald tried to connect with Ursua, who was defended that time by Andre Grayson.
Pressure, inside push, collapsing of the pocket, and a bad throw behind the receiver. Way behind John Ursua.
It puts Hawaii in a position now to make a decision yet again on 4th and 11. It's marked at the 27-yard line.
Hawaii calls their final timeout of the half. Media timeout.
With 4:10 left in the first half, Hawaii head coach Nick Rolovich calls timeout. Tonight's Jack Fact is Hawaii's 2-0 this season versus teams from the Mountain West Division of the MWC. Their first 6 seasons as part of the Mountain West Conference of crossover play, Hawaii was just 2-16 against the other side. Cole McDonald, it's not been a fun night.
No, and some of that's on Cole holding the ball too long. Some of that's on the offensive line not being able to pick up the blitzes. And some of the receivers are not getting open. And when Cole runs, he's gonna get hit. And that was a late hit, and there was a launch, but they are targeting literally Cole McDonald.
8 of 23, 164 yards, and Hawaii's gonna go for it on 4th and 11 from their own 26-yard line. I mean, from the Utah State 26, and Cole gets hit again. Tried to make a connection with Bird, and again defended by Andre Grayson.
Yeah, and that's a clean tackle, and that's from both sides, and those type of shots have a cumulative effect. Again, when you're behind the chains, when it's 4th and 11, routes take a long time to develop. What does the opponent do? They blitz. They bring more than you can protect, and the quarterback is gonna have to be responsible for one of those defenders, and he's gonna take some shots.
And this season, Utah State coming into it 4th in the conference with 8 sacks. They've got 2 tonight. That makes them 10, and now a new quarterback. Henry Colombi. And he gives it off to Gerald Bright.
Yeah, and I'm not sure if Jordan Love is injured. They're just trying to get the backup guy some work.
Yeah. So Colombi, 24 of 29, 191 yards, a long of 38 this season. Also has a rushing touchdown. He's a freshman from Hollywood, Florida. So get some work here at Aloha Stadium tonight. His team leading 28-3. 3:24 left in the first half. A very slow developing play. There was no place for Gerald Bright to go. Zeno Choi and company taking up too much space.
They're not sure if we'll get a report on the health of Jordan Love. This is just strategic to get the backup some work. He's had work earlier in the season, but again, this team has scored so many points against New Mexico last week. Love's job was done after the second quarter.
Utah State now has what, 54 touchdowns this season. Incredible. Columbia has time, completes it to Bright, and what a play.
Big play by my guy, Kanai Picanso. I love the way this kid plays. He dropped back into coverage, he read the alignment, and then you're gonna see him just diagnose this play and split the blockers and make a very nice tackle in the open field. This kid reminds me a little, Corey Paredes, a little bit of Blaze Soares, kind of in between.
What I liked most about that play was closing speed. He had dropped back, sees a completed pass to Gerald Bright, and Picanso came flying in.
Yeah, and what I like about him is he's a thumper. And what I mean by that is he comes downhill, north and south. I think Hawaii has too many linebackers that run east and west, and without Jeremiah Pritchard, this is the guy, Picanso.
Calls their first time out of the half. Immediate timeout.
So Utah State here at Aloha Stadium leading 28-3. That's called timeout. Tonight's top three brought to you by First Hawaiian Bank. We're talking scoring offense in college football. Number one in the country is Alabama, 54.1, followed by the Houston Cougars. Utah State, number 3 in the country, at 49.4 points per game coming in. Now, Alabama's averaging 38 at halftime.
I just love watching Tua Tagovailoa. I mean, he is just the front runner for the Heisman Trophy, but the efficiency, the athleticism, the decision-making, that guy is exciting.
So punting now, the end-over-end look.
Got blocked.
It wasn't pretty.
I think
But the end result, Utah State will be very happy. It did get somebody on Hawaii special teams, got a pawn. Now, we saw a change in quarterback for Utah State. We saw Henry Colombi come in for Jordan Love. Watch his head. This is the play that ended their last series. Is it possible that Jordan Love's hurt, concussed, or neck injury, what have you? Or is it a case of just getting a freshman some work with a big first half lead?
Just by reading body language, I would be surprised if he comes back in the game. He does not look like he's very excited about continuing to play this evening.
And no helmet inside.
Yeah, that's the first thing you do, right? Take away the young man's helmet.
Comegano on first down, looking to go over the top yet again, and nobody home. And
Robert,
he got hit again.
The hit he took on that play particularly, he's getting up gingerly, slowly. I mean, he took a shot. Almost criminal in terms of full speed run into the quarterback.
I mean, he's taken about 5 shots in this first half tonight against Utah State that are probably the 5 toughest hits he's faced all season.
Yeah, and he doesn't look like Tom Brady where he would be yelling at the offensive line, but I think he is asking for a little bit, just a little longer in terms of the protection.
DeQuan McDonald, 2nd and 10. They're backed up inside their own 30. He's throwing left side, complete this time. Armstrong Brown, first down, Hawaii, with 1:30 left in the first half.
Yeah, and that's a great throw. And that's, again, a young man who just took a shot, standing in that pocket, making sure he's on balance, really good platform, and then throwing a dart out to the sidelines.
That's a great sign to see after taking that shot, that a quarterback can stand there and deliver on a rope and out to the left side. 1st and 10 from the 43-yard line. McDonald looks left side. And that time it's caught by Devin Stubblefield.
Yeah, and you're not going to see a better back shoulder fade throw. Nice hands by Devin Stubblefield. Good understanding of that's coming in on the back shoulder fade because you're not behind the defender. 17 yards, and again, really a nice throw. Great execution.
And that loss against Fresno State on the road last week, Devin Stubblefield caught a touchdown pass, the 5th of his career, for the first for him since 2015.
Seems like he's been around here forever,
Yes.
but he's had injury after injury.
McDonald looking like he was going to run with it, but Utah State came to the blitz, put pressure on him. And Tipa Naleai was first there with Gage Ferguson.
Yeah, and Hawaii uses what's called slide protection, and Fred Hawley steps up, but I think the offensive line was half sliding to the one side, and there was a defender unblocked. And again, Cole McDonald's taking some shots. He's 215 pounds, but he's taking a beating this evening.
Loss of 5. Naleai pressure again from the outside, and this time Cole McDonald gets away and goes sliding into the 35-yard line.
And Robert, as this pressure continues to develop, Cole's going to start getting his eyes down instead of looking down the field, and he's under duress.
35 seconds left. Hawaii trails 28-3. McDonald has pressure, gets hit again as he lets it go and picked off.
There's an old saying, defensive backs are wide receivers with no hands. You're going to see a phenomenal interception by number 7. Watch, he becomes the receiver, pulls the ball into his chest. What a play, what a play.
That's DJ Williams, his second INT of 2018. And sometimes you want to go get down on a quarterback for throwing a pick, but this is one of those situations you got to give credit to DJ Williams. That's a heck of a pick.
Phenomenal. What they're doing defensively now, Robert, is a 3-man rush. They had a spy. When the spy see Cole going through his progression, he rushed and hit Cole again.
So again, it's Columbia at quarterback taking a knee, and Utah State makes a decision to take it into the locker room. 28-3. The Aggies on a 7-game win streak. Are they on their way to number 8? It's halftime here at Aloha Stadium, and you're all invited to stick around. Our halftime show is coming up. Scott Robb, Rob DeMello, RJ Hollis, Kavika Hallows, and Nate Ilo. We'll be back after this timeout. There's the halftime stats brought to you by McDonald's of Hawaii.
Well, there's a couple of things that stand out. One is Hawaii's offense is 1 for 8 on 3rd down, and they're 1 for 4 on 4th down, so obviously some inefficiency. Also Hawaii with 2 turnovers. Utah State does not have any. Also 3 sacks to 0. I mean, so their stats are all leading to the score, which is Utah State 28, Hawaii 3.
Utah State 79% completion percentage in their passing game compared to 35% for Hawaii and quarterback Cole McDonald. He took some shots.
Yeah, I've never seen Cole, or really any quarterback, take as many hits as Cole has in this first half. Now, he had the flu as well, 103-degree temperature, and he's not making any excuses, but he is taking a lot of vicious shots.
Now, let's check in with the third member of our broadcast team to find out what's on tap. Brought to you by Coors Light. Scott Robb, good evening.
Hey, thanks a lot, guys. I talked to both coaches. First for Utah State, Matt Wells. He was very happy with the way the team came out. They scored 28 points in the first quarter. That kind of relaxed him. He said the defense was okay. They gave up yards between the 20s, but kept Hawaii out of the end zone. The big question is the availability of Jordan Love in the second half for the Aggies. On the Hawaii side, Nick Rolovich said, we're still in this game. The players believe it. I believe it. We need to block better, and we need to catch the ball. And also, you mentioned that Solo Vaipulu will not be available in the second half. So it could be an interesting final 30 minutes in this game between these two guys.
Scott, thank you for that. So Utah State will get the ball first. We're going to find out if it's Love or if it's Columbia at quarterback. We see Columbia warming up on the Utah State sideline. Hawaii will kick off to get things going. Now, technically, it's not over. 28-3, but the level of execution has to rise for Hawaii on offense.
But especially with a backup quarterback, Columbia is going to play the second half. I think Love's done for the game, and that's huge for Hawaii.
So they go pooch kick with Mesco. The Aggies take it near the 20-yard line.
Yeah, that's an illegal fair catch signal. The guy who caught the ball didn't signal for the fair catch. The other guy did. Ball's dead right there.
That's kind of sneaky.
Yeah, and we saw that in the NFL.
The other guy called it.
Yeah, and we saw that in the NFL this past week.
81 gave a fair catch signal but did not field the ball. Therefore, the ball is placed where it was caught. First down.
That's reverse psych. So it will be a quarterback. Columbia. Jordan Love. We saw the video, and we're guessing at this point because no actual report from the Aggie sideline, but it looked like he bounced his head off the turf here at Aloha Stadium. The Colombian shotgun, pressured up the gut, and he finally keeps it, tucks it, rolls left side. May have picked up 4 or 5 yards.
Yeah, and there's a great inside push by both Samuela Akuteo and Zeno Choi right in the face of the quarterback, and he scrambles and picks up positive yards.
So pressure up the middle that time for Hawaii. Now the fake give to Thompson and completion to the opposite side. That pass caught by Taylor Compton.
Really a nice play designed by David Yost in terms of giving this quarterback, the righty, the ability to have level passing routes.
First down Aggies at the 35-yard line. They trail 28-3. And this time the give to the right side. A great second effort again by Darwin Thompson.
Not only great second effort, Robert, making Ikem Okeke miss in the hole, and then the second effort, and here comes a late flag.
Small tussle at the end of the play involving Matautia.
After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct by number 27 of the defense. It's a 15-yard penalty and an automatic first down. This is number 27's first unsportsmanlike conduct foul of the game.
So the back end of that play is Thompson and Solomon Matautia.
Yeah, and they go tempo. You running backs got to get off the ground. Defenders have to let them get off the ground.
Now, maybe it's technical. You're going to call Matautia for laying on the player. Should you call a punch to the face? The reaction penalty? Just saying. I agree. And big time hit on the quarterback, but he had given it up. The ball was in the belly of Gerald Bright, and Columbia took a shot.
Yeah, and if you're going to run that read option game, you're going to take some shots.
They got back to the original line of scrimmage, makes it 2nd and 10 here. Now, it's not fair to judge Columbia yet, but this offense, without Jordan Love, it's a total different dynamic. They run inside. Bright may have got to the 35-yard line. I think Jordan Love is the closest thing we've seen at Utah State to Chucky Keaton.
Yeah, and I remember Chucky Keaton vividly in terms of his explosiveness, both running the football and throwing the football. Career cut kind of short by a catastrophic knee injury.
Yeah, and Chucky Keaton now back in Logan, Utah. He's one of the graduate assistant coaches in this current program. 3rd and 6. They give it to the left side to Gerald Bright, and he's short, about a yard short of a first down mark. Tripped up right at the 40-yard line. 30-yard line check that needed the 29.
They're going to go quick on 4th and 1. Hoping Hawaii's not set and run some type of power game.
So they get the set now. Change the look back to the sideline.
Yes, it is. And this is referred to as the look offense. They're going to look over, get the right call, get the right formation, and then hopefully execute.
They give to Bright left side. And because of second effort, he gets across behind the block of Dax Raymond, his tight end, to get a first down, along with Roman Andrus. He's a starting left tackle, 76.
Yeah, and you're right. I think Hawaii did a good job initially, but it's who wants it more, who needs it more, who wants to win this football game on a situation of 4th and 1. Hawaii needs more green jerseys to the party.
And again, hurry up tempo. And Columbia goes up top. Had a receiver open in Jalen Green, the transfer from USC, had a step on a defender. The ball just out of his reach.
Yeah, and that's Kai Kaneshiro, number 24. Maybe a little cloth, but at the same time, incompletion.
Hawaii emptying the bench on defense, getting looks at a ton of plays.
And Kai Kaneshiro, state champion from St. Louis, the Crusaders, one of the best defensive backs in the state of Hawaii in the Polynesian Bowl last year, getting his first action.
And also back in the mix here is Pumba. Manley Williams, 49, as an edge rusher in this defense. And Akoteo into the backfield. And what a bounce by Darwin Thompson. Touchdown, Utah State. He bounced away from Akoteo and Picanso.
Yeah, I think he stepped out of Akuteo's tackle, and you know, sometimes that happens, but it was the next tackler that for Hawaii. This is 26 yards. You can see right now, Akoteo with a tough tackle in the open field. Great balance by the running back, but it's right there. And I'm not sure, but it looked like Kanai Picanso has to continue to bring his feet with him and grab some clock.
Right for the extra point is Dominic Eberle. What's not going to feel good for Hawaii defensive players and coaches when they watch the film is the opportunities that they let get by.
Yeah, because the initial contact is there.
It tells you at least alignment and assignment is good. The execution of what to do when it comes your way.
Immediate timeout.
Aggies running back Darwin Thompson, 10 carries, 133 yards and 2 touchdowns. That last score, 26 yards, finished off a 9-play, 80-yard drive that took up 3 minutes and 39 seconds.
Yeah,
he's on that tonight.
Yeah, and great balance, great vision, great strength, using the stiff arm, stepping out of tackles, showing power, and again, the ability to outrun defenders. Thompson is the all-around back, catching the ball out of the backfield. Good balance. There's another, look at that balance right there when he used his offhand. That's a good running back, one of the best we've seen this season.
And a kickoff by Eberle. Thompson also has a catch for 34 yards. And the guy with the big smile in the blue t-shirt, there's a lot of love for him in Logan, Utah, but not a lot of love for him in Aloha Stadium tonight. Looks like his night is over. That's Utah State quarterback Jordan Love, who has come into Halava Valley tonight and is exactly as advertised.
Yeah, he is. And big, strong, smart, athletic, can make all the throws. It'll be interesting to see the maturation, the evolution of Jordan Love and whether or not he can play on Sunday. I would say, after watching him tonight, he can.
10 of 13, 127 yards and the 1 touchdown for Jordan Love. Hawaii on offense takes over, gives to Freddie Holly. It's 35-3, 11-21 remaining here in the 3rd quarter. It's a hard time for me to see this offense finding a rhythm without John Ursua touching it. 6 targets for Ursua tonight, 0 catches. 7 targets for Cedric Bird, 2 catches. That pass intended for JoJo Ward, well over his head, but Marcus Armstrong Brown has caught 4 of the 6 that's come his way, and all 4 catches have been for first downs.
Yeah, you're going to see a multitude of blitzes, run stunts, and pass dogs. And there goes number 4. And when you fake the RPO, sometimes the running back cannot help in protection. That means the math has changed in advantage defense.
That was advantage calls created there by Aaron Wade, who's a safety, a senior, 6'1", 210 pounds from Lithia, Florida. McDonald looks right side, completed pass to JoJo Ward. And first down, Rainbow Warriors.
And even on that last throw that Cole was unsuccessful, there was pressure. Here's no pressure. Ball thrown a little bit behind the receiver, but again, a completion.
So again, Cole McDonald this time looks left side. Ursua, his first catch tonight.
Yeah, Z Thunder double out by the number 2 and number 3 wide receiver, a staple against zone coverages, running away from the inside backers. John Ursua has to touch the football. He has to catch the football. He has dropped 3 passes this evening.
So 76 catches coming in, number 1 in the country, 1,083 yards entering tonight's game, number 2 in the country, also number 1 with 14 receiving touchdowns. Cole McDonald over the top, looking for Cedric Bird, and Bird on the back end, defended again by Andre Grayson.
Grayson does a nice job of disrupting the timing, making sure it's not pat and go, where the receiver and the quarterback just time up the trajectory throw. And again, Cole McDonald has at least 10 throws this evening that are highlight type of throws, but he's had 10 or so that he's been under duress. A few times he has missed the open receiver. There's been bad communication. This is an interesting game for Cole because he's had so much success. He already has 2 interceptions.
I do like, though, the take a shot mentality by the offense. Fred Holly left side. I mean, it's been not a great night for running the football. 7 yards per carry for Utah State in that first half. Hawaii average in the run game, 1.9 yards per rush.
Yeah, now the leading rusher is Holly, but McDonald close by. But you're right, Robert, if you cannot be physical enough to run the football, it's tougher for this run and shoot offense to beat you with the throw because they're don't have to stack the box to stop the run.
And look at the stacking that's going on here by Utah State. But they're bringing 7 players and a quick hit and breaks a tackle. John Ursua, touchdown number 15 in the pass game, number 16 overall.
54 yards, and that's what you do when you see zero coverage. Cole McDonald reads it, and the receiver reads it. Quick slant, 1, 2, 3 slant, and that's pressure. Give Cole McDonald a lot of credit. He throws it off his back foot, a little bit behind the receiver, but again, Ursua needs to be good set on the outside, good stick, ball slightly thrown behind him, and he breaks the tackle. The confidence of John Ursua.
Aggies stacked the box. They brought 7 defenders, leaving all the receivers for Hawaii in man coverage. And Ursua not only makes his first catch of the game, second catch, check that, but he broke a tackle, and the guy grabbed his helmet, and when he spun around, he had the heads up enough to readjust the helmet en route to the end zone.
He's still adjusting his helmet, and I agree with that. And the thing about defensive back play when you're in cover 0, you have to take away the quick slant. The easiest throw is the quick slant.
So
make them run the out.
Explain cover 0.
Cover 0 is there's no free safety in the middle of the field. So if they do catch the ball on the inside, there's nobody to help you make the tackle. You saw Ursua's helmet get a little bit twisted. But again, we expect John Ursua to break tackles. We expect the confidence to take short passes to the house.
So you can grab a hold of the helmet. You can't grab a hold of the face mask. What's the difference?
Questionable. But going back to cover 0, Robert, that means there's 4 defenders on 4 receivers. There's 7 people. If you look at the run and shoot, there's only 6 people to pick up 7. The quarterback will slide one way, and he's responsible for the outside edge rusher of the slide protection.
So it's without a safety playing deep center field.
Exactly.
Hawaii's going to go for 2, trailing 35-9. Faruta in at running back. Cole McDonald rolling right side. And Cole McDonald completes the pass. 2-point conversion is good to JoJo Ward. A sign of life for the Rainbow Warriors on offense now.
And hopefully this will give them the swag they need. This is a great call by Craig Stutzman, Brian Smith, Nick Rolovich to give Cole the ability to go to his right and put it where the defender cannot defend the great throw.
It sounds like a Marvel Comics defense. Cover 0.
Yeah, it does. And Cole McDonald does a nice job of holding his cadence so he can allow the rushers to get to the line of scrimmage. Now he knows cover 0. He's going to go to his right-hand side to his favorite receiver, and John Ursua is going to set the nickel back with a little outside move, and right now Cole McDonald's done this 1,000 times in practices and plenty of times in games. Cover zero means defensive backs are playing man coverage with no help by a free safety or anybody else. It's one-on-one, Marvel comic type of defense.
And if you're a receiver, whether you're a slot receiver or an outside receiver, and you see cover zero, you're man-to-man, you've got to treat it as a message of disrespect.
Yeah, and Robert, you break your routes off as well.
And the outside kick, effort by Hawaii, quickly recovered by Utah State.
The one thing about a Nick Rolovich coach team is he's gonna take chances. They're gonna be onside kicks. He's gonna go for the 4th down. This ball was kicked directly at the center on the front line of the kick return. And nice job of avoiding it, not letting the ball bounce off you. That was a good job by the kickoff return team for Utah State.
I mean, it planned perfectly, executed perfectly by Ryan Meska. It's a line drive to an up man who probably wasn't expecting it. And in the perfect world, Hawaii gets the rebound. Flag fly, pre-snap.
A false start by number 51 of the offense. It's a 5-yard penalty, and it's still first down.
Quinn Fickle is a center. When you get false start by the center, somebody wasn't paying attention.
Yeah, Robert, four of those guys are seniors. Hawaii doesn't have a senior on the offensive line, so Hawaii a much younger team than the Aggies.
So the give this time and stop at the line of scrimmage at midfield is Darwin Thompson.
Kalen Hicks, good job by the safety playing in that 8-man box. Samuela Ateo in on that tackle as well. Blessman to Ala.
Again, Henry Columbia, the quarterback, in for Jordan Love. That pass by Columbia completed to Aaron Vaughns across the 40-yard line.
Yeah, and that's a run and shoot formula as well. Take the flat defender to the flat and hit the curl route on the trip side.
So Columbia looking left side has a running back wide open. And Darwin Thompson was finally pushed out of bounds by Solomon Matautia.
Yeah, and the defense needs a big play. They need a stop on 3rd down. If they can do that, I think the offense now is starting to execute and believe.
1st and 10. It's marked at the 36-yard line. Columbia now 3 of 4, 22 yards in the pass game. And Darwin Thompson, 11 rushes for 135 yards. They fake the end around, and Columbia throws it left side. That pass completed to Quavion Tarver.
Yeah, a little bit of orbit motion along with read option, with also the ability, the 3rd option, to throw the football. I mean, David Yost, the offensive coordinator, doing a phenomenal job with giving his offense options.
That's Kalen Hicks for the Rainbow Warriors, starting safety, being attended to on the field. Utah State closing in on 400 yards of total offense. They come in averaging 471 yards total offense per game. That's 2nd in the conference. 1st in the conference, averaging 49.4 points. And those numbers would be school records as far as averaging points per game and yards per game. 395 total points coming in to this game. The school record is 454. They're closing in on it. That was set back in 2012. Right now they're averaging 49.8 points. The school record is 38.
Media timeout.
7. That's a lot of offense. Kalen Hicks helped off the field to the Hawaii sideline. Now make the dream of education a reality for the student athletes. Visit hawaiiathletics.com and click on the donate button in the Ahahui Koa Anuenue banner. 35-11. Utah State leads the Rainbow Warriors. Again, the quarterback for the Aggies is Henry Columbia. In for Jordan Love, now in street clothes and a blue t-shirt on the Aggies sideline, knocked out of the game as far as we can tell. The give here is to the right side, and Darwin Thompson having a heck of a game.
Yeah, Thompson is, but I'll tell you what, Solomon Mautautia, nice job of making that tackle in the open field.
And no surprise, Aggies go up tempo yet again. It's 1st and 10. And Columbia being pushed out of the box. Turns the corner, and he will score.
Yeah, and Robert, that's one of those RPOs that is not only good for 26 yards, but it had the ability to throw it out to the flat defender. Right here, he doesn't give, he takes it, he pumps the ball to the outside, and then just the rest is history.
And they go for 2 now, and successful. I didn't expect Columbia to get that touchdown.
How much credit do you give to the offensive coordinator, David Yost, who both you and I have been around in casual settings, and I think is one of the, he doesn't look like a football coach. He doesn't talk like a football coach.
He's like a mad scientist.
Exactly.
There's something in his apertures that gives him all kinds of things to think about. And the extra point here by Dominic Eberle. Now, David Yost is the offensive coordinator for the Utah State Aggies, who are having a record season offensively in total offense and scoring. What's he remind you of?
Spicoli from Fast Times at Ridgemont High. I mean, there's not a football coach in America that looks like this guy. You would swear he's a surfer or something else, but when I talked to him about Tua Tagovailoa, and he was talking about things that I didn't have in my most serious
but the type of
chemistry class. Yeah, I mean, just, I don't even know what it was. I don't know if it was nuclear physics or astronomy, but that guy comes from left field.
Like, I never knew there were different types of spirals. He was explaining to us, I remember that conversation, the different type of spiral because it's left.
And he had 3 pairs of glasses on.
It was unbelievable. Funny guy. Like, just a nice guy. The kickoff by Eberle. It's taken short of the goal line and brought out by Elijah Dale. Across the 25 to the 30, a flag's thrown across the 35-yard line and finally stopped just short of the 40. Flag was thrown way back near the 20-yard line.
And again, Hawaii trying to make something happen. But when you do that, 90% of the flags are on the kickoff return, and then your offense is in bad field position because it's a spot foul.
Holding by number 25 of the return team. It's a 10-yard penalty and 1st down.
So holding on a would-be excellent kickoff return by running back Elijah Dale.
Yeah, Michael Gabriel, the special teams coach from Hawaii, they already have a blocked field goal. They have a punt that was tipped and affected in terms of the actual net on that punt. He's trying to make something happen because you got to win on special teams when your defense is struggling.
After the penalty, Hawaii takes over 1st and 10 from their own 15-yard line. 7 minutes, 8 seconds left here in the 3rd quarter. Hawaii trails 42-11. Fred Holley may be a pickup of a yard or 2.
Yeah, and that's what Hawaii's averaging running the football, 2 yards. And again, 1st down is where Utah State wins on offense. Hawaii has to gain more yards. They're down by a number of scores. They have to be not so conservative, but more efficient offensively.
They give Holley a gain of a yard, call it 2nd and 9. And Cole McDonald looking right side, going for a home run ball intended for JoJo Ward. And I think had he led Ward, Ward has the foot speed to get to it.
Yeah, maybe slightly underthrown, Robert. The defensive back comes back and makes a play on his football. But you got to admit, there were time in this season during this losing streak or when Hawaii hasn't played as well, people were crying for the vertical passing game. We've seen at least 5, 6, 7, 8 balls thrown vertically. And like you said, you like the aggressiveness of the offense because it does open up the underneath routes.
I think it started game 1 on the road Colorado State when Cole McDonald throws a 70-yard touchdown to John Ursua. Picture perfect. Picture perfect. McDonald has pressure backside, stands in the pocket, and it's well out of bounds. The nearest receiver, Ursua.
Yeah, and last week against Fresno, Cole had that beautiful throw off a scramble, extended the play for the long touchdown pass. I've been very impressed by his ability to throw the deep ball. He
it's
gives the
funny.
receiver a chance to catch it.
What's funny is you talk about all the attention given to the offense, but you're highly impressed with his defense of Utah State. Stan Gaudian back in as punter now. It's the right-legged guy going to the right side. But this Utah State defense is #1 in the country in forcing an opponent to go 3 and out. Average almost 7 times per game.
That is
Crazy
an incredible statistic combined with the turnovers that we talked about, the interceptions that caused fumbles. That's why this offense is so prolific. Everybody gives the offense credit, Robert. Going into this football game, I said they're not as physical as Fresno State, but to me, schematically and the way they execute, this is the best team on their schedule this far. Utah State's playing at a high level.
And it's all the way around, as you mentioned. I'd like to see the algorithm of the analytics involved here, because you get all the scoring on offense. There's 8 non-offensive touchdowns. Now 22 takeaways, and a quarterback off the bench tucking and running and picking up 5 yards.
Algorithm of analytics.
That's crazy
I
stuff.
have to explain that to some of the viewers.
I mean, they start punching numbers in the computer and see how good you are by looking at those statistics. And Columbia, his pass to the left side is hauled in by Ronquavion Tarver. Now, because they get all the takeaways, they force the teams almost 7 times a game to go 3 and you get the 4 defensive touchdowns, 4 touchdowns on special teams. It's crazy stuff. And then you look at, oh, by the way, they're one of the top scoring and top producing offenses in the country.
And it shows you the synergy, and it shows you how well they are coached on offense, defense, and special teams. And people still just want to talk about the offense.
Offense sells tickets. Offense makes
wins
headlines.
championships.
And on 3rd and 4 here, Columbia's pass in the middle of the field, complete by tight end Dax Raymond.
And what's impressive about Columbia is they're not changing what they do offensively.
Which is not the norm. When your second quarterback comes in, you oftentimes see a change in the style of plays that are being called. And look out, Gerald Bright, nobody home. 47-yard touchdown run.
Probably that's almost 300 yards rushing for Utah State. I mean, they've broken tackles. They've made good decisions in terms of running inside, running outside, read options. And both of those running backs are complementary. They're both very talented.
I mean, we've got one running back with 3 touchdowns. We've got Gerald Bright now with 2 touchdowns. A lot of scoring. And the extra point by Eberle is up, and it's good. Gerald Bright, 12 carries, 95 yards, 47 here.
And that's a little power play where they pull the guard off the read option series, and then once you get to the second line, past the second line defender, it's a house call.
That's now 49 points. Right at their average. And a 4-play, 59-yard drive to get the last 7 of those points.
And you know what's impressive, Robert, is Thompson has 141 yards rushing. Now Bright has 95. We will probably see 2 running backs with over the century.
And 3 running backs averaging at least 7.9 yards per carry in this game. And what, not running back, but Henry as well. Columbia, he's averaging 11.3. Like crazy numbers.
It's been the run game that has really ripped the hearts out of this Hawaii defense, tackling what they call gap responsibility.
Dominic Eberle, another kickoff for the Aggies, and another out of the end zone effort by Elijah Dale across the 30-yard line. And talk about a head of steam across the 40 and finally brought down near the 43-yard line.
That's a great return by Elijah Dale. Watch how he never breaks stride. There's nothing but a sense of purpose, north and south. Watch him right here. That athleticism, the balance, the ability to make that cut. But I'll tell you one thing. It takes a lot of ambition, to run kickoff back right into the teeth of kickoff coverage and not break stride.
He got into high gear real quick, too. Right in front of the Hawaii bench. Aggies ranked 18th in the country, 7-1. their first time they've been ranked since 2012. Cole McDonald, right side, pass caught and then quickly dropped by JoJo Ward. He was dropped. He caught it.
When Cole has time, he's going to scan the whole field. And then if he understands there's nobody open, he will run. But a good job of going through his total progression.
They give him 6 yards on the completion, but there is a flag on the field. The officials discuss. One of them is missing is a white hat.
Illegal touching by number 19 of the offense. He ran out of bounds on his own and was the first to touch the ball. It's a loss of down at the previous spot. Second down.
Now, because the official was missing his hat, that was a giveaway.
Yeah, because he throws his hat in the spot he thinks the receiver went out of bounds. Once you go out of bounds, you cannot be the first one back in to touch the ball. Now, you can catch a tip, but you cannot be first to touch the football.
Unless he was pushed out of bounds. And it changes the entire conversation. That catch would have stood had he been pushed out of bounds. But now second down, and they're looking shovel, but Cole McDonald went overhand.
Yeah, you talk about throwing from different arm angles, because the shovel pass is usually something that's underneath, underhand, but he went over the top on that shovel pass. They're both passes. If the ball hits the ground, it's an incompletion. That new fly sweep where they count that as a pass now, added to some of Tua Tagovailoa's passing yards today. That's an interesting kind of concept.
Boy, he's at midfield. Cole McDonald looking right side. And something is not right in the universe. And Cole McDonald gets up slowly again. It's the 5th, 6th time maybe where receiver was thinking one thing, quarterback was thinking another, and the quarterback took a shot again.
McDonald's been hit a lot this game by guys in white jersey. This time he gets tripped by his own teammate, R.J. Hensley.
J.R. Hensley,
my bad.
has the most game experience as offensive lineman on this team.
I'm thinking R.J. Hollis,
Yeah.
but it's J.R.
It's J.R. Hensley. Cole McDonald has time on 4th and 3. And looking home run. And now a flag. There's all kinds of action. Extracurricular action.
It's a dead ball foul, so it's not going to change who gets the football, but there will be.
So is it the first to add or the second? The intended receiver is Marcus Armstrong Brown.
Oh, he gave him a little elbow smash.
And you saw
WWE.
WWE action on the bottom
Then
of the
you got some
pile.
act. That's some acting right there. That's theatrical.
So you had a small little love tap. And then you got Cameron Haney, number 6 for Utah State, who in all NBA flop.
I think
on
that's
everything.
FIFA soccer.
It's like
After the play, there were 2 fouls, both unsportsmanlike conduct. Number 10 for Utah State, number 85 for Hawaii. The fouls offset, but it's the first penalty of unsportsmanlike conduct penalty for both players.
I don't like that. When 2 guys get into
First
it,
down, Utah State.
offsetting penalties, essentially nothing happens, right? They should determine, this would probably take too long, who's the more egregious one, and then give somebody some advantage.
But if you overflop,
That's a penalty in itself.
you should lose your scholarship. Like, flopping is like the least manly thing ever.
Did you agree with the FIFA soccer thing versus the NBA flopping?
Yeah, it's out of this world. If you get caught flopping and your game's on television, you should lose your scholarship.
Yeah, you're going to see, well, first, the elbow smash was there. And here's the flop.
That's egregious.
He actually did a backflip.
And then Naleai gets a penalty for basically nothing. Now, Utah State runs a reverse. And again, like the game started, it's Aaron Vaughns. And he's still going across the 10-yard line. There's a player slow in getting up.
Robert, that play was not timed up exactly like it was practice. But at the same time, 41 yards, and they had a wall out in front of them.
And Rolf Ferris is slow in getting up for Hawaii. We've said the number 41, 46, 41, 41 again way too many times.
Yeah, and look at the wall of white jerseys out there, and what are they doing? They are making blocks downfield, and running backs, receivers, making people miss, stepping out of tackles. There's going to be a whole bunch of missed tackles when Corey Bertune and staff watch this defensive film.
You saw 51, the center, goes downfield. He went flying out of the screen. He wasn't flopping. He got hit. I think it was Picanso. But the lead block you're talking about was 76 in Roman Andres. He's 6'4", 310 pounds, a senior from El Dorado Hills, California. And that last name sounds familiar in Hawaii. It should. His father played UH basketball for the great Riley Wallace back in the day.
Riley Wallace, the legend.
When I saw the name, I said, can't be. Is the world really this small? But you see, it's not a very usual last name. It's rather unusual.
Less than 6 degrees of separation.
And there's 76. The big kid, 6'4", 310. And Utah State up the gut run, touchdown. Joe Brett. Wow.
9 yards, and you're going to see the H-back come across the formation. H counter.
55-11 with 3:16 remaining.
Utah State with over 500 yards of total offense.
So Dominic Eberle had to attempt another extra point. It's 56-11. So the scoring now goes, Hawaii won the second quarter.
3-0.
3-0. Utah State scored 28 in the first quarter. First time in school history they've done that in back-to-back games. And Spicoli to the far right has got to be on top of the world. Great offensive mind.
The surprising thing is he only has one pair of glasses.
Yeah.
He had 3 the last time you and I talked to him, and we had no idea what he was talking about.
That's the offensive coordinator, David Yost. And then now Utah State comes back with 28 points in the third.
No, it's amazing numbers. Another thing, I remember him telling me when Tua throws the ball, it's the tightest spiral he's ever seen, and you don't see it come out of his hand for approximately 7 to 10 yards. That's how tight the spiral was. And you know what? He was prophetic because Tua is just killing him at Alabama.
A fascinating guy to talk to.
He used to be at Oregon.
Yeah. Like, it's crazy numbers. When I saw that Utah State coming into this game had 50 touchdowns already. Crazy number. They got 58. They got 58 touchdowns. Another kickoff to Elijah Dale, 2 yards deep in the end zone. Across the 20, still going across the 30 and to the 36, 37 yard line, but there is a flag on the play.
Yeah, there are multiple flags.
Now, I mentioned the 58 touchdowns because the school record is 60. They're 2 from the school record. They scored 60 touchdowns back in 2011. And they've only allowed this season, including the one tonight, by Ursula, 20 touchdowns.
Holding by number 44 of the return team. It's a 10-yard penalty, and it's first down.
Okay, Robert, I'm going to take you back to 2004. Hawaii lost 2 games in a row to Fresno State and Boise State by the aggregate score of about 130 to 20. It was the worst 2 games probably ever played in Hawaii football. You know what they did for the next 3 games? They beat Idaho, they beat Northwestern, and I think it was Michigan State, but I know it was a Big Ten opponent.
That was the run to get
to the bowl
Alabama,
game,
Birmingham.
which they won the bowl game as well. I thought that was the greatest coaching job in the June Jones era because the team was so low. You have to keep them believing, as bad as this looks tonight.
And the run to the right side, it was Chad Owens against Michigan State. and to finish the season, to go win off against Michigan State. And then he goes up and shows up Roddy White in the ball game that year with Alabama Birmingham.
Would you say the most exciting player that you
Chad Owens?
Chad Owens?
Yes.
Mighty Mouse. Fun guy to watch. Fun guy to coach.
And again, a quick pass, quick hit. Cole McDonald to the middle of the field, across the 40-yard line, John Ursula.
RPO, you're going to see, again, Ursula doing a nice job of finding that window between the nickelback and the stub linebacker, 17 yards.
The 17-yard pickup, McDonald to Ursula. I want you to think about something. We mentioned the Chad Owens conversation. Don't give me an answer yet. Top 4 receivers.
All-time?
All-time UH
I can
history.
go quick with that. Are you talking about statistically or who I think are the
Who
top?
you think? Now they're flagging the play. Easy offside by Utah State. Cole McDonald trying to take a free shot. You're 4.
Okay, I'm going to go Devon Best, Ashley Lee, Greg Salas,
Offside
Aloha
by
Polaris.
number 10 of the defense. It's a 5-yard penalty and replay first down.
So Tipanalea.
There he is.
There's Greg Salas. Not
4,000 yards receiving.
ridiculous. And to be that size and play slot.
Oh,
It's
that's
incredible.
what I think changed the
Yeah.
whole definition of you don't have to have small guys.
Yeah.
You can have big guys in the slot. I loved when Greg Salas was in the slot for Hawaii.
He and Kilo Polaris did one season. Great pair.
Please reset the game clock to 2 minutes. 2-0-0.
Ashley Lady, no brainer.
First round draft pick.
Salas, no brainer.
6 or 7 years in the National Football League.
Devon Best, no brainer.
Best hands I've ever seen.
But you got to draw straws now.
You always get that on the 4th guy in any
the
poll.
4th guy. And I think as Cole McDonald tried to complete to the outside, incomplete, intended for Armstrong Brown. Do you go with Polaris, or do you take Owens, who adds the greatest return abilities in program history,
Well, then I think
to the mix?
Then I think you get into the all-purpose, and then
Yeah.
I think Chad Owens is number 1. I think he was second-team All-American receiver and return guy. Led the nation in kickoff returns.
And then June Jones stopped using them on kickoff returns and punt returns.
I was coaching kickoff returns, so obviously that was something I didn't agree with.
But easy to understand why. It's so valuable to that offense. The 2nd and 5 now. And Cole McDonald to the right side and shoved out of bounds by Ferguson. 1:49 left in the 3rd quarter.
Okay, going back to Chad Owens. The BYU game, I think, where Rolovich threw 8 touchdowns.
2001.
I think Chad Owens had 334
Return
return yards, which was an NCAA record at the time. One of the greatest special teams game in the history of the
They
NCAA.
took like a kickoff return and a punt return.
I'm not going to get any money for my concussion test if I keep remembering all these things way back.
You tell them ask me.
Tell him to ask my wife.
I'll help you out, brother. 1st and 10 here. Hawaii across midfield now. Utah State brings pressure on Cole McDonald.
Man, took a shot.
And took another shot.
A
That pass
high-low shot.
short. Intended for Cedric Bird.
You know, Robert, when a quarterback gets hit in the target zone, but when this guy's low coming to his legs and getting all rolled up on, that's where the Tom Brady rule comes into effect. And got to protect quarterbacks, even at this level.
Motor never stops for Suli Tamaivena. He's the guy that put the hit on Cole McDonald. They got Unga, Leilua, Tamaivena, Te'i. That's all Polynesian team in Logan, Utah. And again, flags fly. 56-11 is the score here. 1:15 left in the 3rd quarter.
A false start by number 57 of the offense. It's a 5-yard penalty, and it's still 2nd down.
5th false start penalty of the evening. Robert, did you see Billy the Warrior for Hoko? It's going viral. It's getting bigger every week.
Again.
LSU.
I have to correct somebody on social media a couple of weeks ago. It's 2nd and 15 here. We're now backed up to their own territory. That pass completed to Cole McDonald, and got his helmet ripped off. The flag flies immediately. It'll be against Logan Lee. I saw on social media, they did the haka with his son, Raiden Favor, who was starting defensive lineman for LSU. It's like, the guy said, that'd be like a great pregame thing. And
A personal foul, grabbing the face mask by number 47 of the defense. It's a 15-yard penalty and an automatic first down. Since the foul caused the helmet to come off, number 9 does not have to leave the game.
Yeah, and whether you grab it by the face mask or the back of the helmet, anytime you rip that helmet off, it's going to get called.
so brings me back to my other question. John Ursula, didn't his helmet get grabbed?
Didn't come off, but it was
I don't
close.
think Logan Lee got face mask. I think at the top of the helmet, ripped it off. But back to Vili. The guy says, I think this guy would make a pretty good mascot. Did you really do it? Only the greatest mascot in the history of college football. Stop it. Boy, now inside the 40 of Utah State. McDonald has time. Looks home run. Touchdown. Devin Stubblefield. 2 hits in a row.
38 yards. Devin Stubblefield is good in baseball as he is in football, has disappeared for the last couple of years due to injuries. Nice job with that left hand, Robert. You see the little push off? That's a veteran type of move.
Creating distances.
A little bit of separation.
So Stubblefield now, his 2nd touchdown of the season, his 6th touchdown of his career here at UH.
Going back to Billy the Warrior.
Former St. Louis Crusader, who's carrying on a conversation with DJ Williams on the far end. So the conversation is not pleasant.
Do you remember when Blair Kavanaugh was banging the drums, Mike Kavanaugh's
Yes.
son? That was the classic Billy the Warrior. There's a little contact on that play, but I'm not sure it's pass interference. The defender has the right to the football and he has the right to stand his ground. Bird obviously thinking differently.
So if things remain the way it is, there's 43 seconds left in the 3rd quarter. Away trails 56-17. Utah State is on its way to only the 3rd ever win in program history as a nationally ranked team.
Interesting, because you remember Robert Turbin. You remember Bobby Wagner.
Yeah.
I mean, they've had some football players. You mentioned Chucky Keaton. I mentioned the other couple of linebackers, the Virgil brothers, as well as Luke Frackle, I think his name is. Those guys, how did they get so many athletes to Logan, Utah?
It's unbelievable. If you start looking at the numbers, they're 18th ranked now. The last time they were ranked was 2012. They were 0-2 as a ranked team in 2012. 0-1 in 1961. They're 2-0 as a ranked team in 1960. It's crazy numbers. Hawaii, on the other hand, will fall to a nationally ranked team for the 43rd time in program history. The short kick is taken across the 40, where Utah State's offense will take over. 10 straight losses to a nationally ranked team for Hawaii.
One streak that I was glad that Hawaii got that monkey off the back was the national television streak.
Yes.
That was really horrific, and then this year they put an end to that. I mean, we still have to remember the first half of the season when nobody gave Hawaii a chance. They were double-digit underdogs in the first few games, and I think that's what raised the bar, raised the expectations. 3 new coordinators, 3 new schemes, 10 new players on offense, 8 new players on defense. I mean,
Run right side again by Gerald Bright. I mean, it's not supposed to be that free and easy to turn the corner at this level of college football.
yeah, and there's no Jelani Tavai, one of the best players in Hawaii defensive football history. There's no Jeremiah Pritchard, the thumper, the inside backer from Silverado High School in Las Vegas. You know, but at the same time, Hawaii has to tackle them because that's what the fans want.
How much is Jelani Tavai missed? Tonight represents the 3rd game he's missed this season.
The first game of the season and the last.
That's due to injury, and he still didn't tackle. That's the end of the third quarter. Rainbow Warriors inside Aloha Stadium trail 18th ranked Utah State 56-17. It has been a good 2 weeks for Hawaii receiver Devin Stubblefield.
Yeah, really nice back shoulder fake, catching it at the high point, extending his hands. Now you see a little set on his release and then creating separation like a veteran. Really nice job. Great throw, great catch. Great celebration dance?
Yeah, the LeBron James look from the NBA. Stubblefield, as we mentioned, now got 6 career touchdown catches. But the one last week against Fresno State was pretty powerful for himself. Hadn't scored since 2015, battling all those injuries. Good for him.
You think he, now in retrospect, made the right decision? Because he could have played baseball.
Yeah.
He was an outstanding all-state baseball player. Playing football, the injuries.
Well, I think with his foot speed, coming out of St. Louis, he was tailor-made for an offense like this. Thing is, in his very first practice in Manoa, non-contact drill, pops a knee, and that just sent him back. Then he fights his way back and pops the other knee. And it was like unbelievable run of bad luck for Devin Stubblefield. Good kid.
Yeah, hard luck. But and also, as I mentioned, all-state first team in baseball.
Yeah.
St. Louis Crusader. George Gussman was not coaching then, correct?
No. On 2nd and 9, Gerald Bright put down by Big Thompson.
Yeah. First of all, Lesman Ta'ala, the freshman, does a nice job penetrating and turning that play back inside. And then the inside linebacker doesn't overrun it. That's Kanai Picanso.
So what's ahead for the University of Hawaii? They get a much-needed bye week.
Much needed after 11 straight weeks.
And then they recoup. And they got 2 more shots at getting elusive win number 7 to become bowl eligible. It's UNLV here at home. They finished the season on the 24th against San Diego State.
Also over 30,000 miles traveled on their 5 road trips, and they still got to go to San Diego State.
The Henry Colombi intended pass for Savon Scarver. There's far too much talking in this game.
Especially with a score like this. You know when there's talking like that, what I used to do if somebody was talking, you don't have to talk back, just point to the scoreboard.
I mean, there's far too much talking. And it's not one-sided.
Well, and I think Utah State has won the last 4 meetings. Is that correct in this series?
Yeah, the series has not been close. Aggies won the last 4, and they're 4-4 all-time here in Hawaii. Again, last season's meeting was 38-0 in Logan. That punt goes out of bounds, short of the end zone. With 13:23 left in the game, that punt by Taylor hits. Then the officials will mark it actually near the 20-yard line.
You know, the nose tackle, Unga, has been a little quiet, but that's what nose tackles do, right? They demand the double team. You mentioned, Robert, the brother of Tui Unga, who played for Hawaii last year. There are 4 Ungas that have played college football.
And Owani Unga was a graduate assistant at Utah State last season, is now a full-time coach. He's the guy who made his NFL debut like on a Monday night and just went crazy.
Loved watching him play.
For the New York Giants. And we're told Tui Unga now lives with the brothers in Logan, Utah. The Comendano way overthrows Marcus Armstrong Brown. Boys' offense never got into a rhythm.
A consistent rhythm, there's no question. And they never got the running game going in. You can talk to Nick Rolovich, Brian Smith, Craig Stutzman, Andre Allen. They'll all tell you, even the offensive line coach, Mark Weber, will tell you, you've got to be able to run the football.
43 yards rushing tonight. By an offense that coming in averaged 128.6 yards per game on the ground. McDonald, the bird in the middle of the field, just short of the 30-yard line.
that little funnel, tunnel screen, some people call it. I mean, there's so many different terms for so many, some of the same plays. But right here, take a step upfield, come back and get it. You let your linemen go downfield. Hopefully your linemen can time up their blocks in space. But they've had some success, and then other times, Utah State has read that play.
Some new bodies now for the University of Hawaii as the fourth quarter gets going here. New center. Tonga Tulima replaced by Kaibi Chung. And Cole McDonald gets sacked.
Yeah, and that was a defensive end who came all the way around the backside of the formation. And again, is it the quarterback holding the ball? Is it receivers not getting open? It wasn't on the protection on that particular play.
Tipanalei is who we're talking about off the edge. Been a busy man tonight for the Aggies.
Yeah, and coming into this game, 8 tackles for losses, 5.5 sacks. I mean, this guy can play football. You're going to see him coming on the left side of your screen, wrap all the way around the back door. And you know why they run those circles in practice? That's the reason why.
Yeah, to keep the motor running. And he was blocked not bad by Joey Nu'uanu Kuhiiki. The flag in the play. This may have been the most different bodies we've seen in one game. By the Rainbow
Catch
Warriors.
interference by number 22 of the kicking team. It's a 15-yard penalty, and it's a first down.
Ika Mokeke has played well in terms of a coverage guy. Michael Gobriel, the special teams coach right next to him, is again a teacher. He's not yelling at him, he's teaching the proper technique on special teams.
56-17.
Welcome back to Aloha Stadium. 11:52 left to play in this one. 56-17, Utah State leading. And Jeremy Musa, who saw action a week ago at Fresno State and threw a touchdown, warming up on the sideline, so we could see Musa coming in for McDonald. Back up to you guys.
And that touchdown that Scott Robb just talked about was the one to Devin Stubblefield late in the game against Fresno State, 27 yards.
And you mentioned the plethora of players, and also with the new redshirt rule, a lot of these young guys will not burn a red shirt by playing in 4 games.
I love the rule. And they run right side, that's Utah State. And again, broken tackles near the line of scrimmage, and now late flag comes flying in.
Corey Bethley came in and tried to submarine the ball carrier. The ball carrier jumped over him. You got to keep your head up. You got to hit in the strike zone.
And what a great name too. El Toro Allen. Running back. Aggies.
How do people think of these names?
It's a great name.
I'm Rich, you're Robert. Watch this right there. Oh,
Been rolling
head
over.
Down.
You know what El Toro said by that tackle attempt? Ole.
By number 19 of the offense. It's a 10-yard penalty and replay first down.
So holding against Utah State.
How do you do this? The Ole was so perfectly timed up with the El Toro.
El Toro's a great name.
It is. Wild Man.
Wild Man's a great name. I'd like Jordan Love a lot
Love
better
is a great name.
if we didn't have a Love already this season.
We're giving him too much love, but well-deserved.
We're really fixing the quarterback called Love.
That's right.
San Jose State.
Now, let's
Is
do
it Josh Love?
a DNA test on that one.
Yeah.
Both quarterbacks.
I would have been more impressive if it was the first time we got some love this season.
An illegal snap by number 68 of the offense. It's a 5-yard penalty, and it's still first down.
And Love had his best game for San
Yes.
Jose State.
But they're Utah State now moving guys around. Quinn Ficklin is the starting center. But now they're going with Moroni Iniguez, who's the starting left guard.
Maroney's a great name, too.
Yeah.
Biblical.
The left-handed snapper. We rarely see
That's
left-handed
different.
snappers.
The spin will be different, but they try to take the spin off now. Watch how it's a dead ball as they bring it down. It doesn't spin.
He got some good zip though. So El Toro brought down by Bethley, Corey Bethley.
And number 13 reminds me of Keith Bonifar, the assistant coach of the
At
University of
UW,
Washington
yeah.
Huskies, because he wore number 13 and I coached him, and I haven't seen much of 13s.
Who's the other 13 along the year? Preston Satelli.
Ooh, there you go. How
He
did
wore
I miss
13.
that?
Because Dad wore 13.
Alvis Satelli wore
Yes.
13, my teammate, captain. Phenomenal player in the Canadian Football League. What a family that is. The Satellis, the Nogas, the Cafences.
The 2nd and 10. El Toro, like bull, runs to the right side.
I'm just going to let you do the color because nobody is as colorful as you.
I'm losing
Not
my mind
just your
right
Aloha
now.
shirt.
It's 9:49 left in this game. And Utah State is on its way to winning its 8th consecutive game.
And they talked about the traveling. They got on a bus, traveled 3 hours to, I think, Salt Lake City or wherever it was. And then that long plane ride.
They want some wine with it, the cheese with that wine? Stop. They're all bummed because they flew commercial.
No, he was down. I mean,
Yeah, he was clearly down.
yeah.
8 straight wins is one shy of the school record. Doing 9 in a row. Remarkable feat for the Aggies. Now clearly down.
Yeah, forearms down.
Yeah.
Hand is not.
But the whistle didn't blow. So props to Heal to fighting on. Longest active win streak in college football right now is.
Is this a quiz?
Yeah.
I'm going with Central Florida. Mackenzie Milton.
Number?
24. 21.
21 straight games.
It'll be 24 soon. Mackenzie is
Utah
one of the most
State.
amazing players to watch in college football.
Utah State be tied for 5th right now. 8 straight wins in the country.
Yeah.
Del Toro stopped in the backfield by Beckley again. So after Central Florida at 21, Alabama.
Flight calls their timeout of the half. Media timeout.
So timeout called by Hawaii. And here at Aloha Stadium, 11:52 with 8:44 remaining. It's 56-17. And you're all invited to stick around for the Heineken post-game show coming up right after the game. Our side-sit analyst will break down all of tonight's highlights and stats and the antics that you recognize from UH Volleyball at the Stan Sheriff Center here at Aloha Stadium tonight.
You talked about algorithms. You talked about analytics. That's who I want to hear from after this football game.
The Antis?
The Antis. Because they're going to stay to the very end.
Oh, they will.
Those are Hawaii's best fans.
Yes. Hardcore. Love it. 8:44 left in the game. Aggies lead 56-17. Henry Colombi, right side, completed pass to Devin Tompkins.
Nice job by Kai Kaneshiro of staying on the upfield shoulder, inching his way back with all those moves. Just continue to inch back.
And 56 points represents the most points given up by Hawaii this season. It was 50 last week on the road against Fresno State. .557 yards offense for the 18th ranked team in the country tonight here in Halawa Valley. Del Toro right side to the 30-yard line. And this is off a game where they set a school record, putting up 704 yards against New Mexico a week ago.
Yeah, and Love only played the first series of the third quarter. He did all his damage in the first half.
Man, they scored 52 at halftime.
There's got to be a mercy rule.
Unbelievable.
But there's been a couple of times, right? They've been in the 60s, the 50s, the 40s.
No question.
Jordan Love has had multiple games with 4 touchdown passes.
Utah State's had 3 games scoring 60 or more. They've had 4 games scoring at least 50. And both those numbers represent school records. El Toro Allen, right side, gets near the 30-yard line.
And this is what happens when a team plays well. They're executing at a high level, this offense from Utah, and they're getting a lot of help from their defense, taking the ball away, their special teams, scoring on special teams, and the opponent does not play well. Hawaii is beat up defensively. They need a bye week as much as any team in college football. They played 11 straight, more than any other team in the FBS.
Yeah, that's a crazy number. 11 games in a row of NCAA college football. Aggies on 2nd and 1. El Toro Allen right side, may have got to the 15-yard line. Did he cough it up?
It's going Hawaii's way.
Panay Pavihi has the football. Did El Toro Allen cough it up before he hit the ground?
Pavihi with the recovery. What I always want to find out is who forces the fumble.
You see it clearly. Well, you can see the ball come out, but we can't see his knees. Yeah, Kendall Hume.
Yeah, Kendall Hume was, I think, involved, but Panay Pavihi definitely with the recovery.
The call is Hawaii football. And again, Musa in for Cole McDonald, Jeremy Musa, freshman, 6'3", 210 pounds, from Chino Hills, California. He goes play action across the middle. A completed pass to Sharsh across the 30-yard line.
Sharsh, Matthew Allen from Honolulu High School.
If I'm not mistaken, Musa's from Chino Hills. Isn't Salas from Chino?
Yes, he is. So is a guy by the name of Frank Strong, who played in the 80s at wide receiver.
Here?
Here at the University of Hawaii,
Really?
wide receiver.
I wish I was old enough to remember that, Rich.
Wow, this is a tough night.
So Musa, we've seen Musa in camp. Maybe the prettiest deep ball we've seen.
You know, Stutzman had said maybe the best quarterback room in the country. When I asked him about it, he said arguably, because he loves Musa.
Yeah.
He loves Chevin Cordero. He loves, obviously, Cole McDonald. Those are 3 good quarterbacks. But you're right. The best arm in terms of NFL arm talent is Musa.
And especially the deep ball. When he throws it deep, we're talking 45, 50, 60 yards. Somehow, and I don't know how he does this, he gets to the turnover. Like it drops in on receivers.
The least athleticism in terms of movement in the pocket, but the best pure arm talent.
And again, a freshman.
Well, gotta like that.
Like Chevin Cordero. Chevin's had 2 opportunities this season. This is the second opportunity for Musa. And Fred Holly runs to the left side.
And it seems like all day long, the inside running game, there's been no hole. So the back will bounce it outside, and the linebackers, the safeties, do a nice job of making things go east and west and tackling inside out. But going back to Chevin Cordero's maybe 180, 185 pounds, he'll continue to get bigger and stronger. He's had 2 games to play in, and that means Hawaii still has potentially 2 games plus a bowl game. So they want to make sure that they conserve the 4 games, and they're doing this judiciously.
And I think Cordero, coming into camp time, had gotten up to over 200 in the weight room. Musa looking for a long ball. Now the intended receiver for Hawaii on that play was Eric Rooks, also a freshman from Chicago, 6'3", 215 pounds. It's absolute empty to bench time. And get some tape on some of the young guns, some film work.
Yeah, and I would imagine you, like most of the country football fans, like the new redshirt rule.
Oh, I love it.
The ability for these young men to play, and then they can decide to transfer with the new national transfer registry. That's going to be a hard one, is keeping all those quarterbacks in the same program.
So we now know how the redshirt rule works.
An illegal substitution by the defense. There were 12 players in formation. It's a 5-yard penalty, and it's still 4th down.
So it's any 4 games you can play. Your clock doesn't start ticking once you get in. You have 4 actual games you can get involved in and play. How does the national registry work?
And in October, you can put your name on that, which makes you eligible to transfer. Whereas obviously in the past, you could not do that. So that's a new NCAA legislation.
So fair catch by Utah State. 4:49 left at Aloha Stadium, and the Aggies lead 56-17. Can you feel the love tonight? You thought you'd be all alone, all romantic in the yellow section?
I bet you they wouldn't mind sitting there for the Bruno Mars concerts, but right now,
Not bad seats.
they're falling asleep.
Have you ever watched the football game from that yellow section?
Rob DeMello used to
You
have
see
season
everything.
tickets up there. I like end zone because I like seeing things
Yeah.
open up.
First and 10 Aggies at their own 30-yard line. El Toro, that's not El Toro. It's Justin Hervey, a senior running back, replacing El Toro Allen, who fumbled on the last series.
That's why. Even though it's late in the game, you fumble, you are out.
Especially when you're trying to just run on the clock, get out of dodge.
Yeah, and that's demanding. That's a head coach that understands it's still fundamentally you have to do your job. And if you're going to be put into this football game and given responsibility, you have to perform. There's penalties. I'll tell you, Garrett, that's why I think this team has done so well. It's demanding head football coach Matt Jones.
The Hervey running right side, and again making a tackle is Beckley for Hawaii. So Utah State now 8 consecutive wins will tie Michigan for 5th on the current active streak. Number 1 we mentioned was UCF, Mackenzie Milton and company at 21. Alabama's won 11 in a row, Notre Dame 10 in a row, and Clemson's won 9 straight.
Okay, so 3 out of those 5 teams have a Hawaii player on the roster. Not only are on the roster, one's a Heisman Trophy winner, one is going to be probably in New York, and the other one is who?
Notre Dame.
And what's his name?
Gilman.
Alakai Gilman.
Yeah. The transfer from Navy.
Wait, I think it's
Notre
Alohi
Dame.
Gilman.
Alohi Gilman.
Yeah, Alakai is the brother. The dad is a Sai.
Transfer from Navy. Now the Mountain West Conference today, and this score will ring tomorrow, and the rest of the country sees it 56-17. Army beat Air Force 17-14. Cowboys topped San Jose State 24-9. San Diego State escaped New Mexico 31-23. Boise State 21-16. They beat BYU, and Fresno State a 48-3 win against UNLV, Hawaii's next opponent after a bye week next weekend. Across the 40-yard line does Hervey go. I'm surprised at the fall of the Aztecs. They're struggling a little bit.
Yeah, I wouldn't say the fall, although they lost last week. They struggled against New Mexico, who Utah State just obliterated last week. And the guy who's saddest about that is my son, who's a freshman at San Diego State, Kupa'a Miano.
Does he go to the games?
He works in the football office.
Does he really?
Twice a week in recruiting and social media, and I guarantee you, he's putting his 2 cents in there.
Is he fish tacoing in San Diego?
He's loving the food, loving the culture.
First time
it's as close to Hawaii as possible.
when Hawaii was in a whack with San Diego State, and somebody said, "Let's go eat fish tacos." I'm like, that sounds disgusting. Are you kidding me? Then you start eating fish tacos, like, wow.
What was that Wahoo's something that made fish taco?
Now we see one of the Hawaii connection in for Utah State is getting some run here, and that's Siotame Uluave from Kahuku wearing jersey 56, playing offensive line.
Surprised the brother KJ is not getting any action. I'm sure the Uluvales are here in mass numbers representing this crowd of approximately.
Well, it's listed as 17,262, and it turns down. That's all I have to say about that number. Now they go left side and cut back up the middle is Hervey. And then finally brought down again by Beckley. Beckley's making tackle after tackle.
Yeah, he really is, and he's making good tackles. The one in the hole where he kind of rolled his shoulder and ducked his head, That's the only play that he's watching. He backpedals, he comes down, he closes the gate, he comes to balance, he keeps his head up and wraps up. I mean, that kid is making a name for himself. Not everybody can be a perfect tackler. This is not a perfect game. It's not a perfect science. He's made 9 out of the 10 tackles, or however many that he was supposed to. They just need more green jerseys to the football.
And he's in on the action. You got a nose for the football. Hervey left side. Tripped up by Epironi Moananu. The bottom end looks like.
And I expected more out of Epironi Moananu this season. I mean, that's a guy who's played the offensive line, defensive line, and then
Seti, not Moananu.
Okay, good, because he's made a couple plays earlier.
Converted offensive lineman.
Yeah. Say he made some plays earlier in this football game. Is it Ezra?
When the upside for Azia and the rest of the non-starters is to get some work on film. I mean, ultimately, you want to play, you got to impress the guys wearing the gray shirts on your sideline, the University of Hawaii coaching staff. And the best way to do that is get film.
Yeah, and show that you understand alignment, assignment. You will execute your technique and you'll finish the play.
So there's 46 seconds left. Rainbow Warriors looking to pitch their second shutout quarter of this game. They held Utah State scoreless in the second quarter.
Amazing how the numbers have worked. It's the first and third that were all the damage, correct?
28 points each in the first and third.
28-28, 56.
That's great math. Kaiser should be proud.
University of Hawaii graduate as well.
And again, right side run for Utah State and Hervey. So it's UNLV. Hawaii needs one more win to become bowl eligible. It's a week off, UNLV here at home, and on the road against the Aztecs of San Diego State. His program needs that 7th win. The start they had, 6-1. After 4-0, this program needs that 7th win.
And they can't play like they did this evening, especially defensively, but I think they can get that. I also think they can compete with San Diego State. This was the best team in the Mountain West Conference. Fresno State may be the second best team in the Mountain West Conference. The schedule has gotten tougher. Hawaii needs to fundamentally play better, but this is a great week off for this team.
The players of the game tonight for the University of Hawaii, the honor goes to John Ursua, receiver, 3 catches, 78 yards, including a touchdown, and Darwin Thompson, running back, Utah State, 13 carries, 141 yards, and 3 trips into the end zone. It's 8-1 for the Aggies. Hawaii falls to 6-5. How bad of a loss will this be taken in that Hawaii locker room?
You know, I'm not sure. Again, Nick Rolovich was positive, tried to be as positive as possible last week. You have to talk about confidence. You have to talk about swagger. You have to talk about fundamentals. It's a tough line, but I think watching this tape, most of the blame, a lot of it is going to go to fundamentals on defense, stopping the opponent on 3rd down, stopping them on 4th down, taking the football away. Offensively, they did some good things, just not consistently, and they need to run the football.
The power of belief is powerful if you believe. I don't think everybody believes right now. Final score, 56-17 here at Aloha Stadium. Hawaii falls to the Aggies of Utah State. Stick around for the postgame show. Ralph DeMello, Kavika Helms, R.J. Hollis, and Nate Ilawa. For my partner, Rich Mayano, and our entire Spectrum crew, I'm Robert Kikaula. Aloha from Aloha Stadium.